Hello everyone, CMeeCraft here, and welcome to the stream. We're back with some more Fate Stay Nights. As for the rest of this week, obviously we had Emio yesterday. Tomorrow we've got Danganronpa 2 at 10 p.m. But yeah, for today it's Fate Stay Night, or for tonight it's Fate Stay... Whatever. Glad you're here with me today. So let's get into this. It's actually kind of fun. I've got a whole new setup going. I've got a second monitor of the same computer I'm actually using, so that's nice. Instead of having to use the laptop, so that I can have the game at it's not technically in full screen, because then if I ever click off it, it just freezes and stops, but it's basically full screen, which is nice. Let me just take a quick look at something. There. Okay, that should be... Oh, hold on, just a little more. There we go. There, that should be good now. Anyway, sorry for the delay. Had to get some of that stuff ready with regards to trying out the new setup. So, let's load. We're on an interlude, right. Moonlit Elegance versus Assassin. Huh. Interesting. It's a quiet, windless night. It's past midnight. Darkness blankets the sky. The town itself is like a dark sea, illuminated only by moonlight. Overhead, the clouds move across the sky. At ground level, there's not a breath of wind. Higher up, the air must be roaring as the clouds swim by. There is at least some wind. Maybe she hears the inaudible wind. She mutters quietly as she looks up into the windy sky. The young girl, known as Saber, stands quietly in the middle of the yard, glaring up at the sky. Ooh, Saber POV. Neat. Neat. I was not expecting this. Her golden hair is beautiful even in the dark of night. Her clear green eyes remain on the moon as it flickers in and out of view. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, Saber, alright? She glances toward the corner of the yard once. There's an old shed. Her lord sleeps there. If you say you will not fight, fine. There's a heavy clang. The sound of iron melts into the darkness without reaching anyone's ears. The moon hides and reveals itself once again. As the clouds above float past, the girl's appearance changes radically. Solid, heavy armor. She can no longer be called a girl in her blue raiment. Now she is shrouded in steely armor, woven of magical energy, intense enough that it would overwhelm all others. In her hand she holds an invisible sword, concealed by the same magical energy that surpasses human understanding. The figure, once considered undefeatable in battle, in the battlefield, proves that someone like her still exists in this day and age. Though her sword is invisible, the majestic air she exudes proves her exceptional skill as a swordsman. This is what has made her Saber, the hero of the sword, said to be the strongest of all the 7 servants. A knight among knights who remains ever civil and acts according to her lord's will. Whatever the other heroic spirits may be like, she remains the ideal swordsman who would never defy her lord. Okay. But that ends tonight? No, Saber! Saber. We talked about this. We're not gonna do anything rash, right? Saber. She is here, defying her lord's orders. Rather, she is not truly disobeying her lord. This is her way of bringing her lord victory, the result of her own determination. He is too naive. If he continues on this path, it will lead only to death at another master's hands. But this master will never change his ways. Then it must be her duty to be heartless. If her master will not fight, then his sword must. My wounds have not healed. I cannot expect a supply of magical energy from master. But that still poses no hindrance in battle. After confirming her own abilities, she returns her gaze to the moon. She has no concern for the shed where her lord sleeps any longer. Now that she is armed and wearing her armor, the only thing on her mind is defeating her enemies. The moon darkens. The moment a large cloud covers the sky, Saber jumps over the walls of the mansion grounds. She runs through the darkness. The silvery swordsman rushes through the sleeping town. She has but one destination, Ryudu Temple, sitting at the heart of the sacred mountain on the town's outskirts. Even Saber understands how difficult it will be to single-handedly defeat the master lurking in the temple. Shiro is correct. She is bound to suffer great injury, or, at worst, die herself. But how can she call herself a servant if she cannot do the impossible? Servants are driven by their superior abilities and unassailable pride. They are proud as heroes, and have earned that confidence in the numerous battles they fought. Yep, still in the Fate Guard. Thanks for the follow. Inatai Hanyu? I'm sure I butchered that terribly, but my apologies in advance. As heroic spirits whose lore has been passed down and respected since ancient times, they cannot lose, no matter who they face. I mean, if they're facing each other, surely someone's got to lose, right? It's like when like 2 winless teams face off in like a sports league. Someone's walking out of there, slightly less undefeated. She cannot even imagine defeat. She is no exception, however much of her innocence may still be left to her. Oh, from Inuyasha. I see. Hey, Jedi Steve. Being granted the title of Saber is all the more reason she cannot ignore that pride. And that pride will not allow her to just sit by and do nothing when she can face her enemy. And so she must brave any traps that may await her and face her enemy even if she is alone. If she has no chance of winning, then she must simply use her sword to create one. Her sword is a celebrated blade. It has cut countless enemies down. As long as she has invisible air, there's nothing for her to fear. How am I finding the story so far? It's been quite good. I like the lore. The lore is pretty interesting. Yeah. And, Saber's certainly been an enjoyable character as well as most of the other characters, honestly. She runs through the mountain pass and up the road leading to the temple. After she gets through the mountain pass, an imposing stone staircase awaits her. I was like, too, because it's been not necessarily a super choice-heavy visual novel, but there's been a good deal of choices, and it's been nice, because the choices, and granted, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes here, but, or under the hood, as it were, but the choices so far have been feeling more like, you know, it's not just the, like, we're like halfway through the game, pick which girl you want to date from now on. It's, you know, that they actually ask you to, like, engage with the contest and, like, what's the best strategy to try to win this, which I find to be quite satisfying. Feel like our last choice may have done something. Well, seeing that Saber is attacking the temple on her own now, yeah, not quite what I had hoped it would do, but yeah. This is certainly... It is certainly different than the Ryudu temple she remembers. The air is stagnant. The wind is barren. The land's lifeline was contaminated long ago. This place is a land of death. The moment one enters, there can be no escape. She does not hesitate. Saber does not so much as break stride as she runs up the steps. Scenery flies by. Her footsteps echo on the stone stairs, and the mountain begins to stir. The stairs are long, stretching across a great distance. The temple gates are far even for Saber, who shoots up the stairs like an arrow. So long are the stairs that it is impossible for one to pass through the gate undetected. I just realized the enemy has the high ground. Did she learn nothing from Obi-Wan? Or Sun Tzu probably would be the more likely reference for her. An ambush surely awaits along the way. Reaching the gate will not be easy. Whatever schemes may await her, she must simply smash through them and keep moving. This does seem pretty reckless. Yeah. Nothing will stop her. Even were Berserker to appear before her, she would break through. Such is her determination, her confidence. You see Saber running up the stairs. It fills you with determination. She's reached the top. Just as she is about to reach the temple gates, the obstacle presents itself. Saber movie is episode 3, ironically enough? Then she should know all about the high ground. Oh, he looks cool. Saber stops. Despite her determination to push through no matter what enemy she faces, she is surprised by what she finds. It appears so naturally, like a breeze. The man appears before her, lacking any trace of enmity, but leaves not a single opening for an attack. Sephiroth? Not quite, but I see the relation, sure. You. Saber stops and readies her invisible sword. The man before her, backlit by the moon, ignores Saber's menacing glare, as if it were nothing to him. A samurai? She has heard about them, but she is bewildered by the sight of one. This is her second Holy Grail war. Even though she has seen many other heroic spirits, this is her first time seeing a servant like him. Samurai? Sweat beads on Saber's brow. She isn't afraid, rather she is struggling to comprehend the situation. It is not as if she has never encountered strange servants. Certainly there was no stranger and more mysterious servant than the archer of the previous war. By comparison, the servant before her is hardly frightening, and possesses no incredible weaponry. And that is exactly what makes it strange. She senses nothing from the man. There's no doubt he is a servant, but he seems to possess neither a noble phantasm nor magical energy. Could he be, like, concealing his abilities? He should be an easy foe. Their fight should end in a single blow. But her instincts give her one very simple warning. Don't underestimate him. The servant has a means of inflicting instant death. She can't get closer. His katana is unconventionally long for a Japanese sword, making it hard to gauge spacing. But more than that, Saber's position puts her at a huge disadvantage. Exactly, it's the high ground. He's got the high ground. Dang it. The man stands at the top of the stairs, and Saber stands below him. He is about 5 meters from her. His sword will reach her before she can rush him. But she feels nothing from his sword. Repelling it should be easy. She should not be afraid to step in, but Saber senses somehow that she should not. Saber adjusts her grip on her sword and glares at the enemy ahead of her. She may not know his identity, but she should at least be able to determine his class. I ask of you, what servant are you? You underestimate my power. Saber doesn't expect an answer. After a brief smile, servant assassin, Sasaki Kojiro. The servant's reply is given in a sing-song voice. What? Saber cannot help but be surprised. Servants generally conceal their identities. What sort of servant would be so bluntly and proudly give his name? You? Why? Yeah, he did actually just straight up give her his name. I should have been paying more attention. I might have heard of this person before. Why? What a boorish question. It is only polite to introduce myself before a duel. And the more so against an opponent so beautiful as you. How odd, then, that you should react as you have. The man who introduced himself as Sasaki Kojiro, the assassin, appears to enjoy Saber's confusion. Sasaki Kojiro. I don't think I've heard of this person before, but it might have come up at some points. There's no way Saber knows. She has no idea the servant is a swordsman who wields a longsword called Mono Hoshiazao, and was rumored to have been an unrivaled swordsman during the Keicho era in Japan. Knowing, of course, would change nothing. The man's origin is unknown, and even his existence is uncertain. Monohoshizao. Okay. His story was told only by word of mouth, and there is perhaps only one person in the world who knows the true identity of the man, who is hailed as the greatest swordsman in the world, the man who never left a mark in history, but was Sasaki Kojiro's arch enemy, and the only one to have ever defeated him. So how can this man be called a hero? The assassin, Sasaki Kojiro, is a presence far removed from Saber herself. Who among heroic spirits could know the abilities of a swordsman who could not himself normally be a heroic spirit? However, his papa is a rival of the greatest swordsman in Japanese history. Okay, interesting. Two things are clear for her. One is that the man before her is an enemy, and the other is that he has willingly identified himself. You are certainly correct. A knight's honor demands revealing oneself when addressed, and that one should return the gesture in kind. Saber's voice is grave. Saber would never know this. Makes sense. Wait, Saber, hold on. You don't need to reveal your identity to him, surely. Revealing her true name possesses an immense risk. She cannot reveal her true name, even under torture, nor does she have any intention of doing so. Whew, dodged a bullet there. However, this is only in the name of her pursuit of victory. For the same reason, she cannot tarnish her knight's honor. Okay. Kojiro, you said? Assassin, I am... Say no more. I know you are the sort who must give your name in kind if I do so first. It was I who was boorish. The man descends the stairs gracefully. Assassin confronts Saber, taking slow steps down the stairs. I need not know my enemy in this way. If we are to battle, we shall speak with our blades. What a gentleman, what a gentleman. Am I wrong, Saber? Huh? This should be no surprise. You do not know what you are holding, but the murderous intent surrounding you most certainly belongs to a swordsman. That's honor versus samurai's honor. True. Bit of chivalry versus bushido. Well, I guess we don't technically know for certain that Saber is of European origin, but it seems likely to me given the style of her armor and such. And she's blonde. That's a bit of a giveaway. Not that anime characters can't have like crazy hair colors. In fact, like I remember there was one like anime visual novel or something I saw where, you know, there was like some characters had purple hair, some had like blue hair and stuff. The one guy who was confirmed to have dyed hair in the entire like thing, the blonde guy. That's a bridge too far. Blonde hair? You can't have that. That is. That's a beautiful, dazzling aura of a swordsman. You can only be Saber. He takes a step closer. Assassin descends the stone steps, and he points his sword at Saber. I do not care to know your true name. All that matters to me is that the servant known as Saber falls by my blade. There's nothing to discuss. Is that not what it is to be a servant in any case? The swordsman laughs joyfully. I see. Yes, that is true. As Saber speaks, she readies her sword. That's the spirit. Then let us duel, Saber. I must see your swordsmanship, said to be the greatest of all servants. A silver light leaps, solid and soft. The battle between two very different swordsmen begins under the moonlight. New servant data added. Woo! Oh, we're out of the interlude. Kind of as we worried, but we'll be fine. I wake up to a searing pain in my chest. It feels like I've just had a bad dream. Oh, I wonder, can we, let's take a look at the servant data, yeah? Assassin. Okay. A plus agility. Ooh, A luck stat. The other stats are pretty bad, though, so there's that. His strength is less than Saber's, actually, so, Alignment neutral evil. Okay. While his existence is met with suspicion, his name remains widely known as that of a peerless swordsman. He was a beautiful swordsman who wielded a 3-foot-long longsword. Mono Hoshizao. He is said to be born in the Iroku era and became famous during 1605 to 1612, but the truth is not clear. The books that feature Sasaki Kojiro have many contradicting time periods because his name was not even written down in the Book of Five Rings, written by Miyamoto Musashi. His most worthy opponent, according to records, Kojiro is from the Aichen province and studied under Toda Saigen. I feel like I may have actually heard of Musashi before, actually. He favored the longsword, and after defeating the master's younger brother, named himself Ganryu. After that, he went around various lands as a martial artist and developed the secret sword technique, Swallow Reversal, that can kill even a flying swallow in the Nishiki River in the Suo province. Then, after terrifying swordsmen in different lands, he died fighting Miyamoto Musashi at Funashima, what would later become Ganryu Jima, in order to maintain the honor of the domain he served. Because of his longsword, he could not fight while holding the sheath and discarded it in front of Musashi. Musashi is believed to have said the famous line, "Kojiro has been defeated," after seeing that. Miyamoto Musashi holds the record for being one of the best swordsmen in Japan. Sasaki Kojiro was viewed as a worthy opponent, but his real image is as uncertain as a reflection of the moon on water. People will say there was once someone like that, but the legends of Sasaki Kojiro that has been passed down to the present can only be that of a great but fictional swordsman that people fabricated. Okay, he's got presence concealment D. Gets rid of one's presence as a servant. Okay. Fitting for assassin. He's got mind's eye A, which is false. I forget what false means, but I guess it's false. He's got resistance modifications caused by visual disturbances. It is the natural ability to predict danger. Okay. And as far as we are aware, not a noble phantasm. Alright, well then. Good to know. It feels like I've just had a bad dream. Why does my chest hurt? My heart feels like it's burning. False means there's something gained over training, not natural ability. Okay. Actually, it feels more heat from outside has been forced into my body. From outside? I doubt myself briefly. But before I can think of what it might be, I find myself rushing outside. Oh, because I would have gotten, that's from my thing, right? It's my field. Probably told me that Saber was leaving. Saber, are you here? I open the sliding screen door to Saber's room. She's not here. Don't tell me she's... No, there's no doubt. If she's not here, she, went to Ryudu Temple on her own. An idiot! Why? She hasn't healed? Why would she... I'm so angry, my head is starting to hurt. I didn't tell her I wasn't going to fight. I just didn't want her to get hurt like that again. There's no point in fuming here. I need to hurry to Ryudu Temple. Ryudo. Oh, I see. Can't let Saber fight alone. Well, I don't know what good I can do her, but if I get there, maybe I can do something. Ugh, she's a girl. Why can't she just behave herself? I run. I don't even take the time to change. Out front, I grab a bike and pedal as fast as I can. I pedal down the hill without braking. It'll take at least 40 minutes to Ryudo Temple, even if I rush. I don't know how long it's been since Saber left, but I need to get to her as fast as I can. Oh, back to the interlude. Sure. Yeah. Swear his attitude isn't for nothing. Like, I understand it's come from like a kind of chivalrous sort of place of like wanting to like protect the women instinctively, but in certain circumstances it does sort of come across as a bit patronizing, I will admit. The blades cross. The edges of both swords come into contact again and again. Stroke after stroke, sword and katana alike spark as they strike and parry. Ooh. Several dozen exchanges like this later, and neither opponent has changed position. Assassin standing higher on the steps holds his ground. Saber, who is trying to advance up the stone steps, can't get any closer to Assassin. Over time, she bleeds more and more energy. And that's kind of a weakness she has right now. Because we're not giving her energy. So. One of Saber's many attempts at rushing in. Assassin effortlessly swings his long blade, fully 1.5 meters, and halts Saber's advance. No, he's not simply preventing an advance. Saber's blade is lightning, Assassin's katana is a hurricane. So just for reference, so he's got like 1.5 meters. I think the description said like, well, 1.5 meters is going to be. That's a lot. That's like 4 to 5 feet, somewhere in that range. Probably closer to 5. Probably like 4'9" if I had to guess. That seems pretty long. I mean, that's like man height. Well, not quite, but like, it's close. It's close. It's like short woman height. If Saber's blade is lightning, Assassin's katana is a hurricane. Though Assassin may be no match for her in strength or speed, the flexible trajectory of his blade sweeps aside Saber's every attack. Like a spear but a sword. Sorta. The ricocheting katana gains speed and flips back towards Saber's neck like a gust of wind. Even as Saber dodges the blow by only a hair's breadth, yes, the long katana flicks back toward her, giving her not a moment's rest. In contrast to Saber's straight sword, Assassin's blade is curved. Assassin's cutting edge is graceful, but it also draws a long, extended arc. He shouldn't be able to match Saber's sword as it moves in a straight line, but he somehow cancels out that difference. Yeah. She suddenly stops. Her blade isn't moving as fast enough to block Assassin's counterattack. She falls back a pace, knowing it's the only way she can avoid the incoming strike. Assassin's katana traces a fascinatingly beautiful arc, but at the same time it is so fast that it's nearly impossible to follow. Is this seeming impossibility owed to Assassin's skill, or is it owed instead to Saber being at a disadvantageous position in their battle? Don't you just hate those words where it's spelled it's like a variant of another word, and it's spelled exactly the same, but the emphasis is wrong, so like if you start reading it like the other word, it just comes across wrong. So, you know, we got disadvantage, but you can't say disadvantageous. It's disadvantageous. Anyway. And you can't say disadvantage. That'd be weird. Unable to reach a clear conclusion, Saber continues dodging Assassin's strikes and turns aside the blade as it arcs toward her neck with her own weapon. The next thing she knows, she has retreated a few more steps down the stairs. Well, luckily there's a lot of stairs to go, so she's not running out of space yet. And that's the extent of his long katana's reach. It would be easy to rush up close to him once she sweeps his sword aside, but for some reason she just can't do it. It must be owed to the enemy's superb skills and her own position below him, which puts her at a disadvantage. Saber bites her lip, thinking she wouldn't have such a hard time against that long katana if they're on flat ground. You know, when I first mentioned the whole he has the high ground thing, I honestly, I meant it as a joke. I didn't realize it would be, like, the main crux of this entire battle. That's just how tactically minded I am. Even when I'm not serious, I'm completely right. This is certainly a problem. I had not expected fighting against an invisible blade would be so challenging. Assassin is unmoved. He is fighting purely to defend. He need not chase after a retreating Saber, nor does he have any reason to give up the advantage of the higher ground. This must be the first time you have seen a katana, yes? My sword is quite wicked. An ordinary opponent would fall to but a single blow. You, on the other hand, have evaded it spectacularly. This pleases me, Saber. Additionally, your cut-in technique is marvelous. You are able to do so much with that small frame of yours. You must be impeccably trained. Assassin watches Saber, his posture relaxed, perhaps simply because he needn't go on the offensive. The tip of his blade wavers, losing strength. But Saber cannot seize the opportunity. The man is not holding a stance. A long katana like that can only be wielded as long as the wielder is able to swing the sword from any position. Is something the matter? Surely you are not done? An invisible sword is not simply for show, is it? You do not know when to stop talking. The sword and katana clash. Ha! I have you now! The longsword stops mid-swing. Assassin grins, glancing at his katana, where it stopped the invisible sword, then parries again. While Saber catches a flash coming at her neck. Even Saber knows. She's been able to block Assassin's unfamiliar sword work thanks to her invisible sword. Her invisible sword can confuse the opponent's senses, both offensively and defensively. Assassin not falling through on his attacks is proof of this. Not knowing how long Saber's sword is makes it too dangerous for Assassin to close in on her. If Assassin were to step in to attack Saber, he will do so when... Ha! When Saber tries to smash Assassin's forehead. That attack... Assassin dodges it completely as he takes just a step back. Ah, have a good idea of its length now. It is roughly 3 shaku, approximately 90 centimeters, long, and 4 sun, 12 centimeters, wide. Its shape, let's see, as befits your name, is that of a typical Western sword. I love how they translated the, and granted, I know it's my fault for being an American, I know, but... Yeah, you translate the, I'm assuming, like, archaic Japanese measuring system into metric, and then just leave it at that. Now, granted, I know about what 90 centimeters is. It's roughly 3 feet, but still, the principle of the matter. It's like when I was setting up a clock on, like, my microwave earlier today, because it was not the correct time, and I accidentally set it to the 24-hour clock, and it's like, yeah, I know what 1800 hours is, But I don't want to do the mental, math to every time I look at that clock, be like, okay, it's 1900 hours, which is, so 19 minus 12 is 7, so it's 7 o'clock. Like, just give me the 12-hour clock, you know? Assassin may have spoken calmly, but his exceptional skill at appraising the blade is clear. Even Japanese would not normally know that? Just like how a modern-day Brit probably doesn't know the, well, I mean, not that... I guess currency is a different thing, but I was going to say how the modern-day Brit doesn't know how to, transfer shillings into, like, a normal currency. It is so weird that they had non-base 10 currency, the Brits, I think, like, well into the 20th century. Like, that was, like, a later half of the 20th century thing that they finally got on, sensible currency. Yeah, I know, rich coming from an American, because we still use, base 12, like, imperial units for length and whatnot, but for currency, it's different. That's my defense. For currency, it's different. Yeah. They could still tell you what a stone is, though, I bet. I don't know. Is it roughly, like, 16 pounds or something? I don't know. And as Saber's strike had been so fast that even were her sword visible, it would have been almost impossible to see. And yet, not only has he managed to defend himself from the invisible blade, he's also figured out its size and shape. I cannot believe it. You have measured my sword without employing any magecraft or having a satisfying exchange with our blades. Surprised? However, this is but the trick of a mere street performer. In my opinion, as a wielder of a wicked sword, such tricks are the only things I get to practice. I see. Your strategy was to simply parry my strikes to avoid being wounded. I can see now why a coward like you would call himself a wicked swordsman. Oh, was he using wicked... Alright, this might be embarrassing to admit, but I thought he was using wicked in, like, the colloquial sense of, like, hey, look at this wicked party we got going on. Like, he was actually just saying he's, like, morally compromised. I see. Okay. Well, you must forgive me for not properly trading blows with you. You see, I have this long katana. Were I to properly lock blades with you, it would certainly break. You must be the sort to go all out, but I cannot. I am unable to put my full might into every strike with this katana. So it has always been with the katana. Western swords cut with sheer weight and power. Our blades, however, lie upon speed and technique. Do you see how different our fighting styles are? But then again, it would be disappointing to leave matters like this. Now, Saber, I believe the time has come to stop concealing your true power. Assassin, do you believe I am taking it easy on you? Are you saying you are not? I do not know what your intentions are, but for you to fight with your sheath on it is somewhat insulting. Do you believe that I am unworthy of being taken seriously as your opponent? Sheath. Wait, we had info on sheaths. Hold on a second. Let me just double check that again. Here info. Where was it? Ah, yes. Because of his longsword, he could not fight while holding the sheath and discarded it in front of Musashi. Musashi is believed to have said the famous line, Kojiro has been defeated after seeing that. Interesting. Also, wait. Aside from that, wait, has Saber been... She's been fighting with her sheath on this whole time? Saber! Now, granted, it could be justified, right? Like, if the sheath is what gives her sword invisibility, okay. Okay, if it's like the sheath is invisible and inside is like a normal sword, sure. Saber! Invisible air is Saber's truth. Ah, you don't seem as though you intend to comply. Very well, if you decide to reveal your own, then I shall show you my secret technique first. And with that, also decline. I'm not sure if I got that word right. Decline. The swordsman with the long katana drifts down next to Saber. Huh? For an assassin to give up his advantageous position is as good as inviting defeat. He may be a superb swordsman, but it was the landscape of their battleground that gave him the advantage. If the two are to fight on level ground, Saber should have no trouble repelling Assassin's attack and taking his head then and there. Assassin should know this as well. So why? Brace yourself, or you will die, Saber. Saber instinctively reacts to the smoothness in his voice, for he is speaking the truth. Assassin descending the steps has not put her in an advantageous position. Her intuition, which has enabled her to triumph in so many battles, warns her of her mistake. She readies her invisible sword. There's no room to hesitate. What matters is that she has to attack with her sword before Assassin swings his long katana. Oof. Roughly 3 meters separates the two. He readies himself. The stance he takes now is one he's not taken in their battles so far. Secret technique. Saber charges. The long katana is meaningless now. Though when she draws near Assassin, the katana will become a liability to him. And yet... Swallow reversal! Such logic means little to a swordsman like him. Lightning strikes. Faster even than Saber's blade, the demonic blow strikes down in a single straight line. But it's not as if Saber cannot block such an attack. She quickly raises her sword to defend, repelling Assassin's attack. I got you! Even Assassin will be left open after an attack like that is turned aside. In that split-second interval, as Saber attempts to cut through Assassin's stomach. What? Swiftly trusting in her instincts, Saber rolls down the stone steps. She rolls away as if she's fleeing. She makes no effort even to soften her landing. Well, good thing Saber's been keeping up with playing some Dark Souls. Got that dodge roll in. Well done. All Saber does is frantically hurl herself down the stairs, slowing for nothing. Ooh, that is a good effect. Yeah. Saber stops rolling and gets to her feet. Above her on the stairs, she sees the swordsman standing at his ease. Ah, you managed to evade my secret technique. I should expect no less, Saber. You are far and away the superior of a swallow. I cannot believe it. That was... it is nothing to be impressed by. It is something I thought up when I considered how to slay a swallow. He raises his long katana up high. The motion is done as if to mimic the demonic sword's motions he demonstrated earlier to intimidate Saber. Can you see this, Saber? Swallows avoid attacks by trying to catch the wind. Fast or slow does not matter. A sword always disturbs the atmosphere, no matter what sort it might be. Swallows feel that tremor and react by changing the direction in which they are flying. And so, no attack can slay a swallow. A swallow can only move along a single line. It cannot catch a swallow. Or a sword can only move along a single line. It cannot catch a swallow, which can fly through the air in all directions. So your only option is to deny them any path of escape. The first sword attacks the swallow, and the second sword surrounds the escaping swallow as it reads those movements. But they're fast, long as this katana is. The second sword will surely not reach the swallow in time. If I hope to capture the swallow, I would need to strike with the second sword at the very same instant as the first, but which is well beyond human ability. I accepted the truth of this impossibility. However, unfortunately for you, I had nothing better to do with my time. They say determination is the key to success. The next thing I knew, I had managed it. You see, a samurai hunting swallows fills you with determination. A simple, worthless idea like killing a swallow became a secret technique that created a prison by employing multiple simultaneous strikes of the sword. Saber cannot help but disagree with his matter-of-fact narrative. It is untrue. His technique is not as simple as he claims. Execute 2 attacks simultaneously? Impossible. The 2 blades struck at exactly the same time. He's dual-wielding. In that moment, there existed 2 separate katana. Kishche Zelrech, a multi-dimensional refraction phenomenon. Someone whose skills reached the level of a noble phantasm without using CMeeCraft, but by skill alone. It is most certainly to be admired. That single blow made it very clear. Sasaki Kojiro does not possess the noble phantasm as heroic spirits typically do. All he has in his is his magical sword and its sheer power, reaching the realm of the gods. What's astonishing is that this man, a mere human, has managed to stand on equal ground with a heroic spirit who possesses a noble phantasm. But my footing was bad. My swallow reversal typically employs 3 slices. If I had more room, I could have added my horizontal slash. I would assume so, otherwise the attack would be incomplete. If everything were to happen at the same time, the second sword's trajectory would naturally slow down. To compensate, there must be a third horizontal attack to prevent the opponent from escaping to the side. Ah, a quick study indeed. No wonder you managed to evade my secret technique. How wonderful, Saber! I had so cursed my summoning to this material world, but that lament ends tonight. An opportunity to face an opponent that would have been impossible in my lifetime, and a chance to use my secret attack on them is enough to make this summoning well worth it. Assassin readies his sword again and descends the stone steps. He must be after Saber's head. Saber is not confident. I'm gonna assume that should be that. Saber's not confident that she will be able to dodge that secret technique again. Or it could just be a nothing. Yes, typo. Run the presses. Tell the developer, we must have this fixed. Like Lance's Gebulg, Assassin's Swallow Reversal is a technique that one cannot allow the wielder to use. Except, unlike Gebulg, against which one can defend once. They understand what it is and know that it will strike at the heart. There's no defense against Assassin's secret technique. It cannot be evaded, even when one knows what it is. If there is a defense, it lies in preventing him from using the attack. The only way to defeat him is to deliver a devastating blow before Assassin can unleash his secret technique. I see. I should not have taken it so easy on you. She lowers both her hands. Saber drops the tip of her invisible sword, as if driving it into the ground, and glares up at Assassin as he approaches. Oh, so you finally resolved to go all out, Saber? Okay. I think I just read those paragraphs. I think I understand what you're saying. It's like he's uncollapsed probabilistic the multiverse or something. I don't know. It's weird. Assassin stops descending the steps and readies his secret technique once more. Saber looks at him bravely. I too have no complaints. Will you be able to enter my attack, Assassin? Oh? Saber releases her own restraints. The air trembles. As if responding to her will, her sword releases a torrential gust of wind. Again with words that start the same spelling with not the same pronunciation. Assassin retreats several steps. The gale force winds released from Saber's sword are extraordinary. Even the thick trees on either side of the temple gates creak and groan. So strong is the wind it all but explodes outward from her blade. The atmosphere sealed within is released and roars outward in all directions. Saber's sword releases a gust of wind that could easily carry off a human being. This is her blade's power. The invisible air is, as the name implies, a sword that has sealed up wind. The sword sheathed in compressed wind reflects and refracts light to give it the appearance of being invisible. This is what happens when the wind is released. The released air seeks escape and dissipates into its surroundings in chaotic gusts. During that time, her sword's commanding magecraft allows her to freely manipulate the raging wind. As Saber possesses incredible amounts of magical energy, she should be able to maintain the bounded field for a few minutes. The truth of this is made apparent by the fact that her sword, even after releasing so much energy, remains invisible. Huh. This is like a typhoon. However, the howling winds do not die down. The unleashed winds are about to engulf Assassin. Is this game insensitive to be playing so soon after those hurricanes? You know, wielding hurricane force winds to my advantage? I don't know. Seems like maybe I shouldn't. This cannot be all of it. I shall see every skill you have concealed, Saber. Assassin closes in, despite the raging, blinding wind. Saber's arm moves. The wind-infused blade roars, readying itself to intercept Assassin, who advances calmly, slowly, in spite of the gale force winds, strong enough to prevent most people from even approaching. Alright. Shira's back, I assume. What the hell is that? When I reach Ryodo Temple, I'm greeted by the sound of air rushing at me like a typhoon. That must be Saber over there. At the top of the stairs, in front of the temple gates, I see an armored figure, who must be Saber, fighting someone wearing a kimono. The wind swirls around Saber, and the surrounding trees creak under the gale force intensity. Wait, damn, I don't think I can get close. The wind is so intense, I can't even keep my eyes open. Head down, I managed to fight my way closer to the stairs, but the wind only gets stronger. I can't, at this rate. I can't get closer to Saber. Far ahead, I can see Saber fighting someone, but I can't do anything. No, even if I manage to get closer to Saber in this wind, I'll only hold her back. Ugh. My left hand hurts again. The command spells engraved on the back of my hand tingle. Yes, command spells, yes. I don't know what that means. But every time my hand tingles, I can't help but to remember that scene. Damn it! Screw this! I close my eyes and stretch my hands toward the stairs. I get down onto my hands and knees, hoping to avoid being blown off my feet, and begin crawling up the stairs. The wind intensifies. Even a novice mage like me can tell incredible amounts of magical energy are raging above me. My command spells tingle. The roar of the wind warns me something is happening above. Wait, could this be Saber's magical energy? If it is, why would she do something so reckless in her state? No. Should she even be doing something like that? Saber can't recover magical energy. She shouldn't be wasting it like this. I need to step in and handle the fighting, and have Saber support me instead, or else she might run out of magical energy. Ugh. I stand up and start running up the stairs. Now's not the time to crawling. I don't know what Saber has in mind, but I have to stop her. Huh? As I try to dash to the temple gate, something like a dagger flies right by me. I don't know what miracle let me dodge it. Who's there? I turn to look away from the stairs into the trees. There's no doubt about it. I didn't notice it in this torrential wind, but there's someone hiding nearby. You coward! Quit hiding and come out! I shout for whoever is hiding in the tree line. The strong winds should have drowned my voice out. To my surprise, my voice echoes up the stairs. The wind died down? I look up towards the temple gate. There. I see a man in a kimono wielding a longsword, and Saber's back. That's enough, Saber. Someone is trying to steal a glance at your secret sword. The man in the kimono smiles as he speaks. Like me, he's staring out into the forest. If we continue, neither of us will emerge victorious. Whoever hides so cravenly in the trees may attack whoever survives our duel. Or they may simply be observing, hoping to learn about your hidden blade. In either case, I do not care to involve myself. The man turns to climb the stairs, seeming totally disinterested. Stop! Do you not intend to settle our match, assassin? Should you attempt to pass through the temple gates once again, we shall settle things. I will not allow any to pass this gate, no matter who they may be. That, unfortunately, is my only rule. If you plan on turning back, I have no intention of stopping you. That fool hiding in the trees, though, is another matter. Should I find myself disliking them, I will not allow them in, even dead, nor will I let them leave alive. Assassin continues up the stairs. You were manipulated, Saber. The same goes for me, as I did not notice whoever is lurking in the shadows. Had we continued, I could have shown you the power of my secret technique. But we were interrupted. You should consider yourself fortunate. Wait a minute. Did Shinji set us up? Shinji. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I told you this was rash, Saber. Saber hangs her head in regret. Her intent to kill fades. Not because of Assassin's words, but because Saber must have realized that keeping up the fight would leave her at a disadvantage. Come now, your escort's here too. That boy over there must be your master. I suggest you leave this place before the fool spying us decides to target him. And just like that, Assassin disappears. It must be his way of telling us that he won't attack unless we keep going. Saber says nothing. She just stands there silently, her back to me. Hey, Saber! Even when I call to her, she doesn't answer. Huh? It seems strange, so I begin climbing the steps. What? Saber's armor vanishes. Defenseless and in her simple blue clothing, she sways on the spot without turning around. Ah! I catch Saber in my arms as she falls backwards down the stairs. She doesn't move a muscle. She is unconscious, eyes shut in pain. Saber! We finally get home. It took me 2 hours to carry Saber back from Ryodo Temple. I was worried the whole return trip, but we managed to get back safely. Shinji sucks. Agreed. I lay Saber down in the hallway. Saber was really light. She probably only weighed about 40 kilos, so it shouldn't have tired me out so much. Or it wouldn't have if she'd been still. I had no idea that carrying a sleeping person, even a girl, could be so much work. My fatigue is more mental than physical. The feeling of her soft skin when I picked her up, her quiet breathing on me, it was also distracting. Why'd she just faint like that? I look at Saber as she lays there sleeping. She's probably not completely unconscious. Could she not go ghost if unconscious? No, like, well, that's one of her things. She can't actually go immaterial unlike the other servants. It's our fault, I think. Even if she looks like she's out cold, she might open her eyes the moment I call her name. Damn. There's so much I wanted to tell her when I left the house, but I can't say anything with her sleeping, looking like that. Fine. I'll give you an earful after you wake up, Saber. Even now, I keep my voice to a whisper. The moment I reach out to pick her up again. Look, I don't care what you're into or what you plan on doing next. It's really not my business, but... for some reason, Tosaka's in the hallway, watching, even though it's after 2 in the morning. Tosaka? What? You look like you just saw a ghost. I'm not going to say anything, so you just go ahead and do whatever you were going to do. I just got up to get a glass of water. That's a bit convenient. You got it all wrong. This isn't what you think. Really. I mean, it's a long story, but the short version is that I was just trying to take Saber back to her room. Are you even listening to me? Well, sorta. You're lying! You sound like you don't understand at all! I got it, okay. Saber went out to fight on her own, and you rushed off to stop her, right? Something bad happened, then you both came back after Saber fainted, so did I nail it? Yeah. That's amazing. That's exactly how. How'd you know? How could I not? Sabra's obviously going to go off on her own. And a master is immediately alerted to a servant entering battle. It wasn't hard to figure out. I see. I guess that's fine then. So Chisaka knew Saber would go out by herself. So what are you going to do? Are you going to take Saber to her room? If you had her sleep here, I'm sure even a servant would catch a cold. Well, yeah, that's why I was going to take her to her room. I tried to lift her up, but it's kind of awkward with Chisaka watching. Chisaka, would you mind carrying Saber? Yeah, I did not expect Shira, of all people, to force the girl into the manual labor of, carrying a... Well, not a heavy person, but, any person is kind of, heavy in the grand scheme of things that you can pick up. Me? I mean, I guess, but would you make some tea then? I want to hear what happened. Chisaka picks Saber up. Her being so understanding has me a little worried, but since I asked her for a favor, I'd better go make some tea. Chisaka carries Saber off toward my room. Meanwhile, I work on preparing tea in the kitchen. She said tea, but I'm assuming she doesn't want green tea. The only black tea I have is from tea bags. Okay, this may reveal how uncultured I am, but that's like the way you do tea. It's and obviously I know you can because the tea bags are ground up like tea leaves. I guess you could use those directly, but I honestly don't know what's the alternative. Well, if I don't have it, I don't have it. I tell myself she can complain all she wants and start pouring the hot water over the bag. Sure, do you have a minute? Chisaka comes back. Yeah, hold on a minute, I'll be right there. I put 2 teacups on the tray and carry it out to the living room. And there... Oh, Saber's awake. Sitting next to Chisaka is Saber in her normal clothes. Saber? Why? I thought you were asleep. She was, but it's not like she was going to sleep forever. She woke up. Looks like she used a ton of magical energy at once and just temporarily shut down. It's kind of like an electrical breaker tripping before it shorts out. Makes sense, makes sense. That's a logical way to handle that, I suppose. Saber is quiet as Chisaka explains. You... Seeing her back to her usual self, all the frustrations I had earlier come rushing back. Saber, do you have any idea what you tried to do? Of course I do. I made my way to Ryudo Temple and fought against assassin. During our battle, we noticed the presence of a third servant observing us, and so suspended our battle. No, that's not what I'm talking about! I don't know why you went and fought! Are we to revisit this once again? A servant fights. It is what we do. What I would like to know is why you, my master, keep telling me not to fight. It's strategy! Well, I do understand there's no way around fighting since I've decided to participate in the Holy Grail War. And I know me telling Saber not to fight is me contradicting myself. But, even so, I don't want to see something like that happen to her ever again. I would like to ask you instead. You seem to dislike combat. Do you truly expect to survive the Holy Grail War with that attitude? Do you not see that if we continue to follow this policy, we will end up suffering defeat at the hands of the other masters? It's not like that. I'll fight off anything that might pose a risk to us. I certainly don't intend to just let myself get killed so easily. But aside from that, I just don't want Saber to fight. Wrong. It's not that I dislike fighting, I just... This is much simpler than that. You see, girls shouldn't get hurt. I'm guys, so I can't let that happen. So, I'm going to fight rather than you fight. What? Are you saying I cannot fight because I'm a woman? Sure. Are you out of your mind? A servant protects her master. We will be hurt in doing that, and are summoned for that purpose, precisely. One sex has nothing to do with being a servant. More importantly, are you treating me as a warrior or as a woman? I insist you take back what you have said, Shiro. Please. Saber leans toward me, her eyes blazing with fury. But I don't let her change her mind. It's absurd for her to say she's a warrior before she's a woman. How could someone so frail, light enough for me to care easily, go and behave so recklessly? No way in hell will I take back what I said. Sure, you might be strong, but you're still a girl. Don't get worked up over something so pointless, you fool. What? It's you who's getting worked up over something pointless. Are you saying you refuse to let a woman protect you? I'm already a heroic spirit, so you must let go of such trivialities. It's not trivial at all. Even if you don't think it's important, I do. Besides, it was a mistake from the beginning to have someone else fight on my behalf. I can't allow someone to protect someone as helpless as me. I don't want someone to get hurt in my place. I'm the one who should be doing the saving. I've been working so hard to become that kind of person who can help people, just like my old man. Damn it, listen, just don't fight, Saber. I'll do the fighting. You shouldn't have a problem with that. This'll be the fighting you want, Saber. What? That is absurd. Do you think a human can fight a servant? You should already understand that you are no match for a servant. Please recall what happened when Lancer attacked you. Had I not appeared, you would have been killed. So it would be against any servant. You can't know that for sure unless you try. I just wasn't prepared. But now I can come up with tons of strategies. I might even be able to ambush one of them too. Do not make me laugh. Any defense you employ would be no more useful than a sheaf of paper. I mean, actually, the sheaf of paper was pretty darn useful in the fight against Lancer, I will say, but I can't believe you'd say that, Saber! You're insulting servants. How can you possibly be so conceited as to believe that you, a mere human, could defeat a heroic spirit? Ugh. Saber and I glare at each other. Our conversation's going nowhere, and there's no sign of reaching any kind of compromise. You've got it wrong, Saber. She isn't insulting servants. This isn't going anywhere so long as you don't understand that much. So I'm stepping in. Rin, what do you mean by that? Well, you see, Shiro genuinely doesn't want you to get hurt. I don't know why, but Shiro's just a giant ball of dedication and goodwill. Am I right? Saber's more important to you than yourself, right? That's not true. I never said Saber is important to me. Spare me. You wouldn't be ready to fight yourself if that weren't true. You can't fool me with the good old tsundere act. Yeah. Takes one to know one, and I can sniff that out from a mile away. You know damn well you can't beat a servant, right? But saying you'll fight even so means Saber is more important to you than yourself. She's... I mean, if she puts it like that, maybe. But... That's why you'll fight, even if it sounds absurd. You'll try to win, even if you know you don't have a chance. And you don't care if you die in the process. Because I don't really know why, in that twisted little mind of yours, other people are more important than you are yourself. Well... I don't mean it to be like that. So there you have it. Now you understand, Saber. He's enough of an idiot that he'd even try to protect you against Berserker. So, yeah, he's serious when he says he's going to fight. I don't know how much of Tasaga's words actually make it through to Saber. But Saber takes a deep breath and turns toward me. What, Saber? I acknowledge that you have the will to fight. And as such, I have an idea. What is it? You must train with the sword. I shall teach you as much swordsmanship as time permits. If you accept that condition, then I shall accept your way of thinking. Okay. What? Does that mean she's going to train me? Is this because she's acknowledged my will to fight? Hold up, Saber. That whole line of thinking is pointless. Like, emotional flab. Teach Shiro the way of the sword? There's no way he'll be able to go up against the servants. True, but it is better than doing nothing. At the very least, it should minimize the hesitation he has in battle. I can only bet on Shiro's will and determination, but such is the nature of a real battle. One will never learn if they have no aptitude for it to begin with. Well, I guess if you put it that way, you're right. You're never ready for a fistfight unless you've actually experienced one in the past. Yes, that is why I would like to try once. Nay, as many times as time allows. I'd like Shiro to experience what death in battle feels like, so I'd grow accustomed to battle. What, death? Death? Huh? What? I thought we were just, do some little, like, slicing drills. Maybe do, like, a fun thing where it's like, oh, I'd, like, slice, like, an apple or something. Maybe a little bit of sparring, but when has death, gotten involved here? The two of them are talking pretty casually about some scary stuff. Hold on a minute, I never agreed to any. Okay then, I'll teach him about CMeeCraft. If Saber's going to train his body, I'll enrich his mind. Well, that was part of our initial plan anyway, so I guess I'll begin the formal training tomorrow. Yes, please do so. If you can do that, I can concentrate on training him with the sword. Good, good. Now that's settled, let's break for tonight. Looks like tomorrow's going to be busy. Tasaka waves goodbye and disappears into the outbuilding. I shall rest as well. You should do the same, Shiro. I intend to work you hard in the dojo tomorrow. She gives a short bow and goes back to her room. I feel like I've just been voluntold. All that remains is in the living room is 2 cups of untouched tea and 1 dumbfounded boy. I never agreed to this. My words go unheard. Anyway, what was already a confusing situation has grown a hell of a lot more complicated. I can't even begin to imagine what will happen today. I'm going to sleep. I should at least save my energy. Everything starts with the body. Well, yeah. The only thing I can do is to cling to my fragile hope that as long as my body is strong enough, I'll be able to endure whatever torture they might throw at me. Save the game. Don't mind if I do. Well, time to get educated. Swords and Magic 1? I wouldn't want anyone to get sad if I can help it. If I just use my own limited powers to make the people around me happy, the world will be a better place. That was always Kiritsugu's favorite saying. The man who I saw as a champion of justice was saying he thought he was a failure, that he wasn't good enough. He didn't need to explain it to me. The worlds the young me and the grown-up Kiritsugu lived in were too different, and so the standards for being a hero of justice were different too. When I was young, this house was my entire world. So my old man, Fujini, myself, and my favorite shed were the only things that needed protecting. All I thought I had to protect was what I could see around me. But Kiritsugu wanted to do something for those he couldn't see or reach. I was reckless when I was young. I built myself up by cursing the cruel world. The world was cruel, so I became cruel as a way to make my ideals a reality. There'll always be those that can't be saved. You just can't save everything. If in the process of trying to save 1,000 you overlook 500, then I will abandon 100 to save 900. That is the most efficient way. That is the ideal, Kiritsugu once told me. Of course I got mad hearing that. It really ticked me off, because I didn't have to be told that since I knew that already. Because I knew firsthand that it was that very ideal that led to me being saved. I didn't need to be reminded about something so obvious. But I still believe that a hero of justice could save everyone, despite those limitations. Because that's what a hero of justice was. Someone who could still perform miracles, no matter how idealistic or unattainable they may be. You're right, Shiro. Results are the important thing, but apart from that, what's even more important is to have the heart. What did Kiritsugu say about heart again? I don't remember. It's not often I reminisce about something from so long ago. I must be in a deep sleep. Otherwise I wouldn't be dreaming in the first place. Shiro, wake up. It's almost time for breakfast. See? Saber's waking me up. It's pathetic. What? I pulled upright and out of my futon. It's 6:30 in the morning. Fresh sunlight pours in from outside. Shiro, it is morning. Do you need to prepare breakfast? Saber is staring right at me. I haven't slept. Sorry, I'll get up right away. You have nothing to apologize for, but you have no time to relax. It appears Sakura and Rin were arguing earlier. What? They're here? Huh? Already? Sakura and Tosaka are arguing? What's going on? Hold on. Don't throw me into a situation I don't understand, just as I'm waking up. Is that happening in Tosaka's room? No, the living room. I just passed by, so I don't not know the details. Got it. I'll head there now. Oh, but there's something I forgot to do. What is it, Shiro? Good morning, Saber. Thanks for waking me. I greet her, and then I head out to the hallway. But seriously, what the hell did Tosaka do to start an argument with Sakura? Tosaka! In the living room, there's no sign of Sakura. Tosaka's alone, casually watching the weather forecast on TV. Morning! What a way to start the morning, shouting my name like that. She turns around as if to ask if something had happened. Huh? That's weird. It doesn't look like she was fighting with Sakura at all. Morning! Hey, Tasaka, I heard you and Sakura were arguing. Is that true? What? Verify it's you. What the heck is this nonsense? Sheesh. So apparently, YouTube, in the middle of my stream, wants me to, It's starting to, like, log me out in the middle of the stream. What the heck? I've literally never seen this before. What the heck? I've got to scan a QR code? Sorry for the nonsense here. I hope the YouTube stream is even still, like, up. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Guess my YouTube, like, account's timed out or something. I hope the stream stayed up properly. Anyway, back to the game. Morning. Heard you and Sakura arguing. Is that true? Huh? Oh, from Saber. Yes, it may have seemed that way to an outside observer, but it was nothing really. I just told her not to come here for a while. Again, Tosaka? Why are you causing unnecessary strife in my life and my relationship with women? Ugh. She's so casual at basically banning Sakura from my house. Who gave you that authority, Tosaka? That's ridiculous. Sakura already said no to staying away from this house, so there's no way she would agree, even if we asked again. She wouldn't agree, but she went home after I presented her with a compromise. I told her I would go back home without argument if she stays away for a week. She agreed to those terms. She went home, even if she was a little reluctant. Oh, she sends her regards. These girls are so weird. It's like, stop coming over. Well, no. Fine, I'll leave if you stop coming over. You did what? And Sakura's just there thinking like, okay. 1 week. What are the odds that Tosaka could successfully seduce Jiro in a week? Surely it's less than 50-50 at the very least. Okay, fine. Deal! You did what? Why would she do something like that without telling me? And yeah, obviously you gotta leave at some point, so we don't accidentally get like common law married, but I mean, a week seems pretty short. Actually, I shouldn't yell at her for it. Just like I was just done something I should have. You're right, sorry for making you be the bad guy so early in the morning. You must feel terrible, Tosaka. Huh? No, it wasn't bad or unpleasant to me. Why do you think that, Siro? Because aren't you and Sakura friends? Telling Sakura to leave, not once or twice, doesn't sound like a fun job. That's why I feel bad. I'm the one who should take charge, but I made you do the dirty work. Again. That's fine. Just kicked out Sakura for my own safety. There's no reason for you to apologize. Your own safety? Why would Sakura make you unsafe? And Shinji's the one who... I guess she could be spying on Shinji's behalf in theory, but... I don't know, given their relationship, somehow doubt he'd have much purchase to be able to do that. Get her on board. Unless... And I'm not saying this is the case, but there is always the possibility that Sakura could be the master and not Shinji. That's conceivable. So... if that were the case... I don't know. Huh? What do you mean for your own safety? Well, he said Shinji's a master, right? Knowing him, if Shinji finds out Sakura comes here, he'll target this place. So just to keep Sakura away from here until we finish dealing with Shinji. Ah. I get it. She makes a good point. Shinji said he doesn't tell Sakura anything. I don't think he was lying. But if he finds out his little sister comes here so often, he might get the wrong idea. You're right, it could look to Shinji like we're taking Sakura hostage. Exactly. But more importantly, this place is still dangerous. I wouldn't want her to be walking around at night, so it's best for her to stay away from here for a while. This is for Sakura's own safety, as well as ours. Yeah, you're right. I feel bad for Sakura, but I'll just have to apologize and ask her forgiveness later. Though I won't be able to explain myself even when the time comes. This is really getting to me. I feel really bad about turning Sakura away like this, even if it's temporary. She's been so unselfish about helping me for all this time. Oh, you look really down. What happened to all that energy you had when you shouted at me earlier? Are you all sad and lonely not having Sakura around? I mean, like more so, yeah. Tasaka grins maliciously. Oh crap, I've known she'd tease me whenever I show vulnerability, but I went and did it again. Huh. Leave me alone. Sakura's the symbol of peace at our house. She offset whatever Fujini and I were lacking. So of course I'm down about us sending her away for our own selfish reasons. So you do understand. If you can say that much, then you pass. I'd say you're starting to get more determined. Tasaka teases you. It fills you with determination. Huh? What are you trying to say? Don't you get it? Once this war ends, Sakura will come back. You say you don't want the Holy Grail, but that just means you should fight to take back the peaceful life you had before, see? Now you have a clear goal. Tasaka smiles, her very biggest smile. When she puts it like that, I really have no choice but to agree. Damn, I don't know what to say. What she said there confirms that she's both mean-spirited and ridiculously awesome at the same time. What? So Sakura won't be coming here for a while? Yeah, that's what's going on. Why don't you do your parents a favor and go home once in a while for a change? Gramps was complaining about his daughter neglecting him. Leave Dad out of this. He's not going to die or anything, whether I'm there or not. His Sakura got out to be even more vigilant. We're still boys, so if anything fishy happens here, I'll be the one who gets in trouble and even loses her job. If that happens, are you going to take responsibility, Shiro? That'll never happen. Sadly, since I'm a man, I can't really confidently deny that. Hey man, why did you stop? She glares. Tosaka's eyes bore into me from one side. I don't think anything would happen. Tosaka's not staying here for fun, you know. I sure know that. Good, I'm glad to hear that. Sounds like Amiya's trustworthy, Miss Fujimura. Of course. Even from my point of view, Shiro is really composed. So much so you might be overdoing it. Saber continues to eat in silence as she observes the two interacting. It's been 2 days, but I don't think I'll ever get used to this. Oh, I forgot to tell you, Shiro. It's about the Kyoto Club. Did you hear Mitsuzuri got hurt? Mitsuzuri? Did she pick a fight with someone in another club again? Honestly, she really needs to calm down. She's going to be a 3rd year soon. So how's she doing? Is she hurt bad? No, she's fine. She just sprained her ankle. She was apparently attacked by some shady guy on her way home. Shady, eh? Yeah, she runs fast. She made a mad dash, but it sounds like she fell and got hurt. I see. I'm glad nothing bad happened, but honestly, whoever tried to attack her is either a real daredevil, or they're just reckless. Or they don't know her, martial training. That's conceivable, too. Had to go since last message. What did you miss? Can't see. Tosaka, no, it's not what it looks like. We banned Sakura from the house. That's probably the main event that transpired. Well, Tosaka did. Unilaterally. Either way, they were a fool. I just thought. You thought she would have knocked the culprit out rather than run? Fujini grins. Yep, she sure knows Ayako Mitsuzuri well. Yeah, it's rare for Mitsuzuri to run away. But I guess she's not so tough against thieves. As those things worked out for the best. Something like that will probably teach her a thing or two about being feminine. I munch on my rice, nodding approvingly. You know, I mean, of all the things, we're really making that just statement just right there. As reading breakfast with exclusively women. Not to mention, I think actually exclusively women with some sort of like martial background. And Saber, obviously. Fujini here is associated with the Kyoto Club. And then Tosaka's, mage extraordinaire. Shiro. Hey, Amiya. Suddenly, Rin Tosaka slaps my shoulder, smiling at me. I have some news for you. Oh, what? That'll be more interesting than what I just heard. Yeah, I never mentioned this before, but Ayako and I are really good friends. Do you know we're close enough that we hang out on the weekends? Oh, well, that's nice. Sounds fun. Wait. Why are she and Mitsuzuri friends? Come again? Oh, don't worry. I'm going to make sure I tell her every single word you just said. I'm sure if I tell her about how happy Amiya was when he heard about her predicament, why, I bet she'll break 10 stacks of tiles from sheer delight. I've been getting Sayaka vibes from Sakuya. I'm not sure if that Of Sakura, I guess you meant, not Sakuya. I would like to amend my statement. See, it was just a figure of speech. It's not something I'd be proud of if people heard, so I would really appreciate if you kept it to yourself. Oh, really? Well, I could keep quiet about it, but it would be really hard for me to do that unless there was maybe something in it for me. I might just accidentally slip up, you know? I can't believe this. Sure, you sound sincere, but I'm not buying it. Jetta Steve. So you're saying you're predicting that like Sakura is going to be killed to hurt us emotionally? Could be. We'll see. I guess it might depend on our choices, even perhaps. We have agency in this world. I can't believe this. Sure, you sound sincere, but I'm not buying it. I'm sorry, don't get me wrong. I'm not playing around here. Yeah, there's no understanding here. Or misunderstanding, rather. She's enjoying this. Got it. I'll start making Western-style breakfast from now on. You said it earlier. You mentioned that breakfast should have bread. Good, and I think some jams, apart from marmalade, would be nice. Like strawberry jam. I don't know what you have against Japanese breakfast. You foreigner wannabe. I can't believe you'd so radically change our breakfast just to suit your needs, you tyrant. That is not entirely true. I'd also be pleased to have bread served at breakfast. Soft-boiled eggs would also be an excellent addition. Saber jumps right into the discussion. Is that so? Fine, y'all just want Western-style food. Damn it. Sakura makes a Western-style breakfast one time and it goes right to your heads. Fine then. I'll serve bread for tomorrow. So no more complaints, right? So what was said here stays here. Don't you dare blab about this to Mitsuzuri. I huff and shove rice into my mouth without looking at either of them. I mean, yeah. To be fair, I will say. And granted, I know it's completely just, you know. Ooh, it's a different culture. It's weird, but rice for breakfast just seems wrong. I know from like a macronutritional perspective and whatnot, it's just a carb, right? It's no different than if you're having a bowl of cereal or some toast or a bagel or something or pancakes. If anything, it's probably healthier because your average rice is gonna have like less sugar in it than your average baked good. But even so, it just feels weird. Just seems wrong. Anyways. And then why are you doing something so pointless? Fujin, who had been watching our conversation with a look of wonderment, finally speaks up. What? What do you mean pointless? Even if Sasaki isn't going to say anything, I'm going to tell Mitsuzuri anyway. No way would I pass up talking about something so interesting. Dang. Fujii shakes her head disapprovingly as she eats. Actually, I need to think of a way to deal with her. Oh, I'm really in trouble. Breakfast ends, and it's 7:30. Fujii surprisingly stays back and suggests that the three of us walk to school. But we can't do that. And, like, Saber isn't enrolled, so, I made a decision last night. Now that I've said I won't rely on Saber, I can't afford to take it easy anymore. Oh, 3 being... Okay. Let's go. Do you lock up, Shiro? No, don't worry about locking up. I'm not going to school today. I wave Fujin to suck off. Fujin freezes, stupefied, for just a few seconds. What? What do you mean you're not going to school? Huh? Tosaka beats Fujin to the chase. That's right, you don't look sick enough to miss school today, Shiro. No, but my scar hurts. You know how scars hurt when the weather changes. It's like that. You're lying, Shiro. Yeah, but let me off the hook just for today, Fujin. It's not that I don't like school. There's something I have to do, and it's just more important right now. So let me go. Oh, come on. How can I respond if you're going to put it like that? You always were cagey when you had something really important to take care of. Fujin is complaining, but at least she understands. So there it is. I'll leave the school to you, Tosaka. Okay. Not much is going to change just because you're not there. That's not a bad idea, Emiya. Yeah, leave the house to me. I'm not going to work for a while either, so I won't be leaving the house much. Got it, then I'm heading out, Shiro. If you're going to skip school because you're hurt, you shouldn't leave the house much. Well, see ya. I'm giving you a pass today, but you're going to have to discuss this with me beforehand next time. I think Tiger would have accepted if she was just honest from the beginning. Honest that, like, hey, I'm skipping school so I can train swordsmanship with my bodyguard. I'm not sure if that's a legitimate reason to skip school, typically. Yeah. So the second time this week on the streams we've been, like, chatting about, or it's come up, like, what's a valid reason to skip school? So, like, your friend was murdered, valid reason. I'm not so sure. I mean, given the circumstances here, yeah, it makes sense, but just as a general rule, I don't think training in swordplay with your bodyguard typically would be a valid reason to skip school. I should probably clean the floors. I told Saber to meet me here a little later. I would just do the bare minimum of cleaning in here. It's been years since I sparred with anyone in this place. It'd probably be rude to both the dojo and Saber if I don't clean up. Oh, you're just saying you should have said, like, oh, I got other priorities right now today. Not specifically, like, I need to train swordsmanship. Okay, yeah, fair, fair. But honestly, I don't know what she's going to do for sword training. I've sparred using Shinai with Kiritsugu many times, but Kiritsugu and I never really cared about proper form. It was more like a couple of amateurs beating each other up. I never really had any plans to practice kendo seriously, and I was really only taught how to fight opponents wielding a sword. I was never keen on using tools in a fight. My interest was always making and fixing them. In that sense, this might be the first time for me to learn proper swordsmanship in any serious sense. Saber's swordsmanship is different than kendo, but I'm sure there are some things in common, and I don't think they're so different that I won't be able to keep up. I hear the door open. Saber arrives precisely on time. That works out well, since I've just finished cleaning. Sorry I made you wait. I was thinking of having you teach me here. Yes, is something the matter, Shiro? You look like you have just seen something unusual. You missed the update on Assassin's profile. His skills list updated. Oh, is that so? I guess I could check that out. Ah, yeah, Swallow Reversal. A mystical anti-personnel sword technique. Maximum targets one person, especially that slashes the opponent with 3 arcs at the same time. Apparently, there's one example of something called a multi-dimensional refraction phenomenon. It is a fatal sword that is impossible to avoid in a different sense from Giabulg. Makes sense, makes sense. I feel like in a way, wooden swords are almost as dangerous as blunt weapons. I mean, literally they are blunt weapons, aren't they? Like, obviously they aren't to the same degree. Like, you wouldn't necessarily bring them to the battlefield in the same way you would. Why can't I think of, like, a single, like, battlefield blunt weapon right now? Like like a mace, right? Those are... I mean, yeah. Oh, it's nothing. I was just surprised that you're still in the same clothes. I thought you were going to wear your other outfit. He has another skill. Oh, okay, thanks. Keeping me honest here. Mind's Eye, Verify B+. A mind as serene as a clear mirror, or still water, mental defense mechanism that nullifies the interference with the mind. Since he is not an assassin, he cannot use the presence concealment assassin ability, but he can perform presence concealment in the form of a martial artist blank mind state, and the knowledge of the Showa, a special skill where the hitting accuracy does not go down no matter how many times the same move is used on the same opponents. Attacks can no longer be seen through. Interesting. We're training swords, so I would have thought of Saber in her armor, since that's what she always wears when she's fighting. Huh? If you prefer me armored, I can change. You are right. I was not thinking. I mean, it's not a matter of preference or anything. It's just it was a matter of expectation, more so. Not expectation in like a judgmental sense of like I expect you to do this, but just what I was anticipating. Even should we only be practicing, I am disrespecting you by not wearing my armor. My apologies. I will change right away. Oh, that's not what I mean. I just misunderstood it. It's fine. I actually prefer you in this outfit to your armor. Huh? Are you not saying my outfit is unsatisfactory? Unsatisfactory? I mean, you look like you're dressed for a bout right now, but it shouldn't matter as long as you're comfortable. Wearing armor all day will just tire you out. That may be true, but don't you think this is an inappropriate look for wielding a sword? Why would you think that? It's not weird. You look good. And aside from the fact that that outfit is something a woman would wear, and a woman should never wield a sword, is what Shiro is thinking clearly. I think you look better right now than you do in your armor. Don't be distracted by the cute blonde girl. Good advice, good advice. I don't quite understand. This outfit is certainly easy to move in, but it is ill-suited for combat. I view this as quite an inadequate look for a saber. Don't you dare wear that outfit in a fight, dummy. You're a girl. Saber. Girls look good in outfits like this, so this is fine. And then I returned the rag I'd been cleaning with to the bucket, and I bring back 2 shinai that had been leaning against a wall. So, what are you planning for this training, Saber? I'm leaving everything to you to decide, so tell me anything, no matter how absurd it might be. I toss her the bamboo sword. Saber seems distracted as she catches the shinai and stares at me quietly. Huh. Is there a problem with bamboo swords? I guess it's... they don't really have bamboo in Europe, so it's probably not quite what you trained with back in your lifetime, but... I mean, it should be a decent enough approximation, no? Don't tell me to use wood or even real blades? Saber, you want to kill me? She's really a tough instructor. This is beyond anything I imagined. Oh, no, that is not it. These are certainly excellent mock swords for practice sessions. So let us use them. Saber draws in a deep breath and goes right back to being the normal Saber as I know her. That's a relief. It'd be too noisy to spar with wooden swords. Noise. Noise is your concern, Shiro. Noise! Look, as someone who values and requires some peace and quiet for my work, I understand the value of a low noise environment better than anyone, but that just of the list of concerns I would have with regards to this training regimen, is it going to be effective? Am I going to get injured during it? Are we doing this safely? Is this going to be practical in a real-life combat situation? Whether or not it's going to be noisy, that's probably at, item number 5,000 on the list of things to be worried about. Fair point, Adam. Fair point. So what are we going to do? Are you going to make me strengthen my body by swinging the sword 500 times or run laps? That will not be necessary. From what I have observed, your athletic abilities are above average. If we intend to further fortify your body, it would take more than a day or two. Makes sense. You may be unskilled as a mage, but you are not bad as a warrior. You must have trained hard from a young age. Well, it's always really good at. You don't have to be talented in MageCraft to work out physically. That must have worked in your favor. One of the reasons you survived Lance's attack must be that very training. But it will not be enough for you to defend yourself. Humans are bound by limitations. Your body has not yet reached its limits, and breaking through that limit would be difficult. That's why I will be teaching you only one thing: how to fight. What do you mean? Just fight? Based on your tone, doesn't sound like you'll teach me how to fight. Of course not. The techniques employed in this battle cannot be learned overnight. All I can do is make certain master experiences as many battles as possible. So I'm just gonna get beat up a whole bunch. Look, don't get me wrong. I understand that practical, real-world battle experience is obviously an important part of the regimen, but sometimes you need gotta learn. I guess I already know the basics, but some specific strategies, some specific maneuvers, some practicing on that. Some design drills. I'm not a skilled teacher, so I'm baffled that you would seek my guidance. Hello? Having her sound so proud of that makes it a bit awkward for me as her student. So we're just gonna have a bunch of matches? Sounds like a fire hazard to me, but okay. Yes, that is all, Master. We shall not soften our blows. We will fight as if we mean to kill each other. Well, you will understand after perhaps an hour. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Is she not here to teach me swordsmanship, but rather to teach me how futile it is to think that I could fight the servants? Dang it! I'm about to get so wrecked right now. Sabi readies herself, gripping her shinai. I tilt my head, wondering what she means, but I also grip my shinai, as Saber does. in that instance... my vision goes black. Saber's teaching you one very simple lesson. No matter what I do, no matter what strategy I come up with, none of it will change the outcome of a fight against someone I just don't have a chance of beating. That hurts! It's definitely broken. If it were broken, your arm would look far worse. Maybe a bad bruise, but you'll recover soon. Okay then. Let's keep going. I can do this all day. Huh? You intend to continue, Cheryl? Maybe a bruise, but you should not move again so quickly. Hey, and if this were a real fight, you don't really have a choice, do you? Says the person who didn't hesitate to charge at my arm. Fine, if you don't feel like it, I'll use this opportunity. I got her! Nope. Obviously. Please listen to me. You're obviously fatigued. You must rest, or all of our training will be in vain. You're obviously fatigued. You must rest. I wonder who said that before. Oh, seems like pretty good advice in any case, I'd say. But it's disgraceful for you to be so bad when you're so obviously taking it easy on me. Gotta get Shiro close to death so he can get a Zenkai boost. Maybe. Or, again, she just teaches... It's literally learned helplessness. I can't even get you to so much as raise a brow. I'll be too frustrated to even collapse. Oh, now she's praying. Yeah. If you want me to be surprised, I am plenty surprised. I knew you were stubborn, but I entirely failed to anticipate the extent. Oh yeah, we could farm some XP. That's about strategy. Well, sorry about that. I hate losing. What's this look? Yes, you have demonstrated that many times, so you needn't say so. We'll be taking a break, so please put your bamboo sword down. The floor is slippery with sweat. We are not trying to carry out mock battles in extreme situations, so there's no point in carrying on while we are exhausted and on unstable footing. Why not? I thought combat training was supposed to simulate worst case scenarios, if not! That is even more pointless. Listen, Cheryl, if you say you are going to fight against a servant, doing so will be pointless unless you are in peak condition, have the best footing, and a prepared path of retreat. Unless the conditions are perfect, you will not be able to fight against a servant. Your desire to fight while you are in the worst possible state is foolish in itself. Ugh. So what you're saying is I shouldn't even bother trying to fight in situations like this? Fighting servants is impossible? Oh yeah, but you could confront masters. Granted, the servant's main purpose in life is to defend the masters, so... That's sort of like saying, you know what? Joe Biden, he's... But to be clear, this is a joke. This is not serious. I am not insinuating anyone should do anything. I'm illustrating a point with comedic over-exaggeration. Now that that's out of the way. That's like saying, oh, Joe Biden's 80 years old. I could take him in a fight. No problem. Not then realizing that picking a fight with Joe Biden would mean picking a fight with, his entire Secret Service detail as well, which you're not winning that one. Sorry, that ain't happening. Okay. Anyways, where was I? So what you're saying is that I shouldn't even bother trying to fight in situations like this? Exactly. In a situation like this, there's no miracle which would save you, Zero. The best way to fight should be to fully prepare yourself, then pursue the best course of action in a given situation. Got it. Then I'd like to take a break. I slump against the wall and slowly slide down to the floor. I exhale. Air should be what I feel coming from my lungs, but instead there's only heat. Ouch. While my body is throbbing with pain, I glance towards the clock on the wall. It's a little past 11 o'clock. We started around 9, so we've been sparring for about 2 hours. During the first hour, I was just getting beaten up. Saber struck suddenly, then I blacked out. Knowing when to rest is important? True, true. I woke up thinking I would be more careful, and then just got knocked right back out. She's gonna give me a concussion at this rate. After getting beaten up repeatedly, my body seemed to get used to it. Or maybe my anger just triggered by some latent power, but eventually I did manage to block the first blow. The problem came after that. Here's a thought. Would humans dare to, or even be able to fight back against an opponent who is so much stronger and more skilled? Ew, Oni. The answer was no, because I blacked out the instant I flinched. After that, it was just a repeated show of a cat cornering a rat. If, no matter how I tried to block the attack, I was just going to fall, mortally wounded, then I had no choice to attack in desperation. Of course, she deflected my attacks easily and knocked me out, but as I got used to it, I started getting enough time and awareness to intuit that the next attack would kill me, so I had just enough time to think to myself, oh crap. I guess in a general sense, I was getting into the swing of things. Yeah, this reminds me, so obviously this is like a completely outmatched like matchup of like I have no chance at all against Saber, but and you'd think that. However, if you've ever had a snake, right? I haven't had a snake, but I'm aware of, snake keeping best practices. Often you'll feed your snakes like live like mice and stuff as like their meal. I think I read a story one, not like a fiction, but like an article of there was or saw it on social media or something, but a case where someone was like feeding their snake like live mice or something, but then the mouse actually won and it straight up like killed the snake. So like even if it's you're majorly outmatched, there's always a chance. There's a little chance that you could be that one mouse in a million. I guess in a general sense, I was getting into the swing of things. Built differently, right? Indeed. So after that, I went on the defensive. My intuition kept screaming that the next attack would knock me out, so I tried to avoid it, like any living thing would. I managed to parry Saber's Shinai attacks as they rained down upon me, and while I waited for an opening to counterattack, she struck a fatal blow. I managed to stand up and think that next time I'd last longer, then think maybe I should just go on the offensive before she can strike, since I couldn't hold out anyway. The difference between a mouse and a snake is not as big as a servant and a human. Imagine trying to fight a fighter jet. Yeah. Fair point. And that went on for 2 hours. Not sure this is going to make me stronger. Might depend on the servant. True, they do have different stat lines. But I do think it's helping me get used to fighting. Practice, so I'm neither confused nor too calm in the face of the enemy. All I'm doing is teaching myself that I'm a single mistake away from death. But if you asked me if I thought this was meaningless, I'd say no. With no effective weapon to use, the feeling of constantly being on edge is the most important thing I have. I'm not sure I understand. A job well done. I hurt anywhere, Shiro? Next thing I know, Saber's right next to me. I'm so exhausted. I'm dripping sweat all over the floor. Saber's even breathing hard. It'd be hard to find anywhere that doesn't hurt at this point. You really didn't hold back, Saber. It actually felt extraordinary having you just come at me without even having a chance of defending myself. I have to admit, I'm saying that entirely because I'm a sore loser. Yes, I did try to bring myself down to your level, but I also tried to show you no mercy. No real battle will ever involve making things easy for you. Yeah, thanks to this training, I think I can calmly deal with a Doberman running at me with its leash off. Then again, I wouldn't be good enough yet if it's just a Doberman, so I'll still need more training. I see. He's getting his mental sorted. I'm in a moment of honest reflection. I always thought I trained myself more than the average person, but now I'm ashamed for throwing in the towel after just 2 hours of sparring with Saber. That is not true. Your attacks were all quite powerful. I was so enthused by your efforts that I forgot to strike back at times. Oh? I'm suddenly embarrassed again. For a while, we'd just been two people sparring with our Shinai with no thought given to being a man and woman. But now, she's got me off guard. Hold on. I'm gonna go drink some water. Water? I've had you some. Please stay here and rest. Saber goes to get some water. Whew, that was a close one. Huh? Close? What was so close? I drank the water Saber brings me. It must still be break time, as Saber's sitting formally in a kneeling position. Saber's so beautiful when she does that kind of thing. I'm not saying that as a man finding a woman attractive, but because I find her beautiful as a human being. It's so strange to think that she is Saber, a servant and someone dedicated to fighting. Right now, there's only me and Saber. This might be a good opportunity for me to strike up a conversation. So I'll ask. Okay. The reason to fight. I want to know why she seeks the Holy Grail. I want to know more about Saber before she became a servant. I need a trump card. It'd be nice to have some sort of secret blade technique or something. Okay, I think asking this last question here is basically missing the whole point of this entire training session. The point has been, it doesn't matter what you do. You're dead if you get into a fight with the wrong person. Why she seeks the Grail, or more about, I don't know. So here's my dilemma here. I think I personally find the second question more interesting. That's the one I kind of want an answer to. However, somehow I doubt I'm actually going to get anything particularly satisfying, because she's not going to want to reveal enough info to me to, like, know who she is. So, like, I think she'd probably actually give me, like, a straight-up answer for the top answer. But for this, like, she'd only be able to talk in, like, vagueness. Right? Even if she ended up saying something like, oh, yeah, I was, like, a general beforehand. That starts limiting who she could have been. That being said, I mean, you miss all the shots you don't take. Before she became a servant. I wonder what Saber was like when she was alive. Saber's so beautiful. So I'm sure everyone must have liked her. Calling her Saber is what's throwing me off, but I bet she was an ordinary girl who never held a sword back in the day. Shiro. 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 Did you miss the whole thing? She is Saber because the type of heroic spirit she was specifically qualified for the Saber class. Like, I'm not an expert on how this works, but even I know that much. Which presumably means she was pretty darn skilled with the sword back in the day. Anyway. So, Saber, what were you like before? I'm so curious, I just blurt out what's on my mind without thinking, or even realizing I'm doing it. Come again? Did you say something, Shiro? It's nothing, I was just imagining what you were like. I'm not trying to find out your true name or anything, but I just wanted to know what your life was like. What kind of person I was? You're interested in the strangest things, Shiro. You can just ignore the question if you don't want to answer. It just kind of popped into my head. My top, like, or my leading theory right now would still be that she's like Joan of Arc. But even that doesn't quite fit, because Joan of Arc was not really, like, she was there for like morale mostly, not as like an actual warrior, from what I understand. Right. But I'm just having trouble even coming up with that many other prominent, presumably European female warriors, so. And granted, maybe that's my fault, my ignorance, but anyways, I know you're a Saber, a servant, but I just thought you must have been a completely different person before you became a servant. That's right. Imagine she lived a peaceful life, as befits a lovely girl like her. I do not think that is true. One's personality does not change just because they become a servant. As a knight who was handed a sword the moment I was born, there was never any other for me, as you might have imagined. Seriously? Then you've always been so harsh? That's not good. I kind of sympathize with the people who were around you. That's rude. What do you mean by that? I may be stern, but I do not recall being harsh to those around me. That can't be true. Today's training taught me you're merciless. Look at this swelt. Make one tiny mistake and you happily drive in at every opportunity, you demon. I do not do it happily. It may be tough on you, but it would not be training if I were not strict. This is strange. I somehow never expected Saber to make a face like that. What is that look? I believe it is unfair for you to suddenly fall silent. I guess another like direction to like think of is like possibly like historic queens. Though I don't think most of them directly would have been on the battlefield in most cases, but Oh, I never thought you would get mad like that. So you just kind of surprised me. Is that so? I thought I was only asserting my points. Yeah, but you're not usually so emotional, so that was new to me. Do you really think so? I was simply expressing what I believe. Well, those aren't your feelings, they're your beliefs. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying that you never speak straight from the heart. Not sure I would agree with that assessment. Of course not. What is required from me is not my own personal opinion, but rather my opinion based on my standing and position. That is true even now. I am a servant, a saber, and I will protect Shiro. There's no point in my saying anything so unconnected with my purpose. There's no sense in me thinking otherwise. That may be true, but that would be boring of you. For you, rather. You might have a role to fill, but that doesn't mean you have to devote yourself to that and nothing else. There are things you want to do, right? As I said, my job is to protect you. You're inexperienced as a master to begin with, and so I'm attempting to train you because you suddenly insist you wish to fight in spite of my warnings. That may not be entirely true, but, well, if you say so, then I guess it's okay. I feel like this conversation has softened Saber up a bit. She even looks more cheerful now. So as not to ruin the moment, I decided not to press the matter. Okay. So not much. I guess we confirmed what was abundantly obvious, that yes, she was, you know, a warrior and knight in her previous life. So anyway, now that we've talked a bit, my body's cooled down. So we should get back to training. Saber, let's go again. I've had a chance to rest. Are you sure? You do seem to have cooled down, but you also appear to be in pain. It's fine, just bruises. I can deal with it. Besides, I'm healing automatically now anyway. But if it gets worse, this training will be pointless. I really should wait longer and see. It's fine. I want to do more before Tasaka comes home. I wouldn't want her seeing me in this state. I understand. It would not do to have Rin, who will eventually become our enemy, learn about your abilities. Reckless though it may be, I suppose we should pick up the pace a bit. Saber picks her Shinai up from the floor. But then, a really out-of-place sound echoes through the dojo. Saber, I think her stomach is growling? It seems I am hungry. I don't notice engrossed in our training as I was. Oh yeah, now that you mention it, it's lunchtime. I can't blame her for her stomach growling. I'm not that hungry yet, but if Saber is, we should have lunch. And if during that time I heal more, that's even better! Hey, it's lunchtime anyway. I'll go buy some groceries so you can rest in the living room. Sure, if you're going out, I will accompany you. I mean, yeah, why not? I mean, we're not going to school, so there's no reason she couldn't be with me. I'll be fine. I'm just going to the shopping district nearby. No one would attack me in broad daylight. And you might just attract more attention if you did come with me. Would she? I mean, just a young guy, young girl going out for some shopping. Heck, it might make you look more normal, if anything. Are you sure it will not be dangerous? I'm sure. Just wait here. I'll be right back. Dang it, Shiro. You've robbed us of, like, a fun scene between you and Saber. How selfish. I grab my wallet and head out. Doesn't take more than 10 minutes to get to the shopping district by bike. The bicycle I take from the garage today is Unit 2. Unit 1 is still parked in front of Ryudu Temple. Young girl, he says the girl can be anywhere from 100 to thousands of years old. Okay, well, in my defense, firstly, even if she is a historical figure from, like, thousands of years ago, like, at most, she, like, lived a life of, like, you know, probably sub 100 years, okay? Okay? We can't count, like, the entire existence of, like, her spirit and, you know, age calculations. And secondly, to an outside observer, yes, she would look like a young woman. Because that's what physically she looks like. Anyways, yeah. Good thing I own 2 bicycles. I think is the takeaway here. I bike down the hill. Haven't gone to the shopping district midday on a weekday since I was a kid. The intersection is packed with housewives returning from midday shopping. They're coming from the neighborhood shopping center Sakura and I frequent. Why does Shiro need 2 bikes? Isn't that excessive? Well, I mean, firstly, if he's a bit of a biking enthusiast, right? You know, different bikes. You could have different bikes for different purposes. You could have a street bike, a mountain bike, a dirt bike. Also, it's plausible because, you know, he and his old man lived in the place for a bit, so... Well, actually, that theory doesn't really hold up because well, I forget how recently his father figure died. If it was recent enough, then it could make sense. But if it was, like, 5-6 years ago, then, you know, he'd probably have a child bike. But, I mean, it's just a second bike. Who wouldn't want to have a second bike? Anyways, I finished buying a bag of groceries. Enough food to make lunch for 2 and a light snack. I don't buy anything for dinner since Tosaka's in charge of that tonight, but I do buy enough bread for 4 for tomorrow's breakfast. I don't know how to make strawberry jam, so I reach for the cheapest. Well, no, that might get some complaints. So I go for an expensive jar instead. You know, speaking of shopping, I know I've got filled with shopping stuff. We live in a society that it's gone soft, I'm telling you. We used to live in a society that valued things like, you know, competence, hard work, skill. And now I go to the the grocery store, and they've got self-checkout. Okay, fine, I go up to the self-checkout, and I start scanning my items. I scan them so fast that they think I'm stealing them. Okay? Apparently you're not allowed to do your job officially, or not even your job. You're not allowed to do the store's job officially. I'm scanning the item, I put it in the bag, scan the next item, put it in the bag, scan the next item, put it in the bag. The machine goes, oh, wait a minute, there's no way someone can actually be that good at scanning the items and putting them in the bag. You're obviously stealing. So then I had to, like, you know, an employee comes over, they have to be like, oh, they review the footage, they're like, oh, no, he didn't steal, he's just actually, like, you know, got some skill with his hands of, you know, moving the items around at quick paces. And it's like, all my efficiency gains wiped away by the store being suspicious of my competence. And I'm not particularly good at it, I'll be honest. Like I don't have a history of, like, having, you know, I'm not a veteran in the trenches of, like, I used to ring up these items for, like, 5 years in, you know, the high school. Like, you just scan the stuff, it's not that hard. But, anyway, so yeah, that was annoying. What's I going on about? Right, expensive jam. Jam, yes. They should have cashiers. I'll be honest, I don't hate the self-checkout. I like that it's an option because I'm more efficient than most cashiers. But it's gotten to kind of an absurd point where you'll be at like a Walmart and they've got like 20, 30 different like self-checkout things and like 2 normal ones. So yeah, it's getting a bit out of hand, I will say. Damn, this is really eating into my wallet. Why the hell do I have to spend 1,000 yen on something so sugary? I load the groceries onto my bike as I grumble. But then, I feel someone tugging at me from behind. This could be bad. Huh? I turn around, wondering who it is. Yo. Hi? Standing there is a silver-haired little girl. You're... I stumble backward, knocking over my bike. While I brace myself, the girl looks up at me with a smile. What? I can't sense such as a hint of animosity or murderous intent from her. To top it all off, the little girl says, I'm glad to see you alive, big brother. What? She looks so happy? The hell? She's definitely Berserker's master. She's the master of the monster who almost tore me in half with a single blow. Not the sort of person to expect to just run into in the shopping district in the middle of the day. Should have brought Saber with me. Dang. You're not planning to fight here, are you? Why do you say something silly? We're not supposed to fight while it's still light out. Is that like an official rule? Little girl pouts. She's certainly acting like the little girl she seems to be. I have no idea what she must be thinking. I can at least sense that she doesn't pose any threats, though. You're... Eliasville von Einsberg. You can call me Ilya for short. What's your name? Me? I'm Shiro Emiya. Shiro Emiya? That's a tongue twister. Nobody's ever said it like that. It's hard to remember, just call me Shiro. That's my first name. Shiro? That's easier. Shiro, huh? Yep, it has a nice ring to it. It's simple, but also kind of haughty at the same time. Ellisville looks at me suggestively. I find myself shifting my weight so I can be ready to run at an instant, purely by instinct. She is Berserker's master. If she gets it in her head, she can probably just order him to crush me along with the floors next to me. You don't have to be so tense, Shiro. I have Berserker at home today. You didn't bring Saber with you either, so we're even. Ellisville looks up at me cheerfully. Well, I'm not sure even is the right word. Hey, let's talk. There's so much I want to talk to you about. This girl has me on edge. Ugh. The little girl tugs on my arm, as if she were taking her father's hand. Hey, wait, what's the big idea? Is this some weird new strategy you thought up? What do you mean? I just want to talk. Kids like friends and talk with them all the time, right? This girl's... she's so different personality-wise from when we last met her. It sent me for a loop. That may be true, but it doesn't really apply to us. We're both masters, we both fought each other before, we're actually enemies. That's not true. I don't have any enemies. The masters are more like pests to me. But if you're good, I might let you go. She smiles wide as she says this. Ilya is Ilya. I think I get it now. Oh, just stay back, okay? What's wrong with you? I jerk my arm to throw Ilya's hands off. She's about to fall. Shiro, I thought you were a gentleman. She falls flat on her back because of how hard I shook her off. Oh, crap, Ilya! I don't know why I did that. Next thing I know, I'm reaching for Ilya's... her name is too long. Ilya's waist, and try to catch her before she falls to the ground. Oh, thank goodness. I was getting worried that I would have to say Ilyasville every single time. It's a bit of a mouthful. Huzzah! Narration is calling her Ilya now. Yay, that's a win for me. I lower Ilya to the ground without saying a thing. Ilya's silent. I don't know what to say myself, so I just stand there looking down at Ilya. You know, it's like, I mean, I did kind of save you, but also it was kind of my fault to begin with, so... I guess we kind of got like a Cuban Missile Crisis sort of thing going on right now. So, yeah. Like, I should get some credit, I guess, but, like, how much, really? Well, this is awkward. So awkward, in fact, that I'm about to just turn around and leave. But then... Why? Do you hate me or something? What's that look? She asked with the same glow in her red eyes that she had when she spoke to me the other night, when she was with Berserker. A chill runs down my spine. I sensed no danger earlier, but she's just reminded me that she's still Berserker's master. If I crossed her, I'm dead. I'd never be able to face Saber if I died in vain here, and everyone in the shopping district would get dragged into this as well. Yeah, that's a safe bet. Ilya's waiting, or willing to use her powers anywhere. Fine, you just want to talk, right? I'll do what you want then. So, will that be alright, Ilya? Yep, then let's go to the park. I passed by it earlier, and there was nobody there. Look, maybe I'm being paranoid. But... is nobody else being there really a desirable feature for a site for our conversation to have? I kind of feel like one of the main reasons I'm alive right now is because if you did kill me, there'd be a bunch of witnesses. But if we eliminate the witnesses, that seems not exactly advantageous from my perspective. Ilya skips off toward the park. Come on, hurry! If you don't, I'll leave you behind, Shiro. Don't threaten me with a good time. I quite like what they're doing with her sprite here, of, popping her around and stuff. It really gets across her sort of lively, hyper energy. It spins around as she runs through the shopping district. So how old is she supposed to be? She really did go ahead without me. I'm more moved than I am confused. Apparently, once you promise Ilya something, she treats it as the absolute truth. And that's why she just skipped off so happily. It's also why, even though she left me behind, I don't even consider taking the opportunity to run for it. I had already promised her I was going to talk with her, and she clearly trusts that. What's with her? She sure is unstable. Ilya is Ilya years old. And you're not wrong. But then again, I haven't yet gotten to an age where I'm so cynical as to betray a little girl's trust. Ilya and I are the only two in the park, a little ways from the shopping district. Kids are in school at this hour, or maybe the park's not as popular anymore. Our conversation begins in the tense, wintry air of the park. So, let's talk. What do you want to talk about? Do you know about Saber? About Saber? Why? We're masters, don't you want to get information at the other servants? And Berserker's so, like, strong that I'm not sure really needs it. I want to talk about that kind of stuff. I'll get bored if we don't talk about something funner. I don't really find anything in particular boring, but okay. What do you think is fun? I don't know. What? It's your entertainment value, is it not? I haven't really talked to people much, so I don't know what to talk about. So you brought me out here, not knowing what to talk about. Didn't anyone teach you to think before you act? They didn't, did they? Then from now on, you're going to be a proper, thoughtful adult. Funner? Language, Ilya. Proper speech. Well, have you considered, though, that if Ilya says it, it must be proper? Because she is Ilya. No thanks, I'll leave all that to you, Shiro. Isn't mans are supposed to escort a lady? Oh, she knows my weakness. Chivalry. Dang it! So I just have to follow you. She smiles and leans against my shoulder. She doesn't seem like she's being touchy-feely. If anything, it's like a small animal huddling against something to stay warm. Huh. Now that I'm paying more attention, she does look cold. Ilya, are you cold? Yeah, I am. I don't like the cold. She breathes out a puff of white mist. Though she says she doesn't like the cold, she seems enchanted by her misting breath. I see. It's a lot colder than usual today. You'll just have to endure the cold for now, but... where did you come from? Your name sounds kind of noble or something. I'm not kind of noble. I am noble. I was born in an old castle owned by the Einsborn family. It was always cold and snowing, so I'm used to it being cold like this. Always cold and snowing, so what? Is she... And she's got to be either like Scandinavian or Russian then, right? Huh. You're born in a cold country. Shouldn't you be used to the cold then? Just based on her clothes, I'm leaning more towards Russian. Yes, I just don't like it. I like it warm much better. Don't you like it warm too, Shiro? Well, yeah, obviously I'd rather be warm than cold. I know, that's why I like to stay inside and keep warm when it's cold out. I like snow. It's white, and Father said it was like my hair. I clapped my hands together in wonderment. Now that she's mentioned it, I've realized something. I don't know what Ilya reminded me of, but if ever there was such a thing as a snow fairy, it'd probably look like her. Your dad's pretty clever. Your hair is like snow. Soft and white. Oh, I just realized, too, she's got red eyes as well. So I guess she's... I'd assume then she... Like, that's like the coloration of, like, albinism, isn't it? You know, like red or pink eyes and then, you know, white hair. Right, I'm proud of my hair. Got it from my mother, and it's the only girly thing about me. It giggles joyfully. Seeing her acting this way leaves me numb. hadn't already seen it for myself, I'd never believe this girl could be Berserker's master. How do you, Shiro? Did you get anything from your dad? Don't say I have magic crest, okay? I want you to know what you got from your dad as a son, not as a master. Me? I guess the last thing I got from him was the house. Before that was my last name, and the first thing I got was a chance of living again when I was about to die. As the only one Kiritsugu managed to save in that fire 10 years ago. Let's see, I didn't get any physical features like you did from your parents, but I think I got plenty of things that were just as good. It looks delighted, as if it was a story about her. Who wouldn't be happy seeing a smile like that? But from what you just said, you didn't get this magic crest? That's weird. Does that mean you're not a master? How dare you assume such a thing? Huh? Well, I'm an apprentice mage without a magic crest, but I'm a master. Now that you mention it, you're a master, which makes you a mage, right? Huh? I'm not a mage. I'm a master. I'm confused. Has ever taught magecraft? Okay, look. At some point, the odds just get astronomical. So what? There's seven masters, and what? 3 of them, like, just basically aren't mages? Like myself, Ilya here, and Shinji? Really? That seems unlikely. Like, especially because, like, isn't this supposed to be like a contest, like, amongst the mages? Huh. Then you didn't inherit your parents' magic crest? But I thought your family was a prominent one since you have a castle and all. That's true, but you don't need a magic crest to be a master, so that's why I'm a master. Also, I kind of forget what a magic crest is. Kinda. Tilts her head in confusion. Huh. Now I'm confused too. Those words seem off. It feels like we're each having a different conversation here. Hey, Ilya, let me ask something. Where do you live? It sounds like you came here just for the Holy Grail War. Does that mean you're living in a hotel right now? Well, for starters, it'd be bad if she didn't have a guardian. Like a child like her coming to Japan on her own is just terrible parenting. Hotel? Like a vacation villa? I mean, I guess they serve similar purpose. Yeah, I guess so. Not a house, just somewhere you stay. Hey, yes? You see that big forest over there? It's a Western-style mansion my grandfather's grandfather built over there. I was told that the Einsborn family's masters stay there for the Holy Grail War. Okay, magic crest is the accumulated magic power of the head of the family, passed down through generations. Okay, good to know. Ilya points west. Yeah, there's deep forest in the mountains there. The place hasn't been developed yet. It takes about an hour to get to that forest by car. Did you come all the way from there alone? Yep, I snuck out today. Scylla and Lystrit may be my mates, but they're so annoying. Came all the way to Japan, so I'd think I could go out and do some things. I may have always gotten what I wanted, but I've been shut in my room all this time, so this should be a reward. Huh. You're locked up in your room? Yeah, I wasn't allowed outside when I was even when it snowed, because it would be bad for my body. That's why I usually play in my room. But I'm fine. It's not as cold here as the castle, so I'm fine by myself. Ilya beams proudly. She swings her legs back and forth, seeming to be genuinely enjoying herself. I find myself reaching into my grocery bag. I take out the dorayaki, a Japanese pancake sandwich filled with red bean paste I'd bought to give Saber, and without knowing why, I handed it to Ilya. Want it? It's not the fanciest thing, but it's good. Huh? What's this? Food? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of sweets, but this is the only exception. This was a favorite snack my old man and I shared. You're giving this to me? Yeah, yeah, it's no big deal. What? Is giving a young lady food like a marriage proposal in your country? Yeah, it's not as good as if you eat it alone, so let's eat it together. I hand her the dorayaki. Ilya hesitates, but takes the unfamiliar snack. Okay, thanks. She happily takes a bite of the dorayaki. She practically devours the thing. I nibble my dorayaki and try to stop myself from being overwhelmed by the shocking thought I've just had. I don't believe myself. For reasons I simply can't understand, I just found myself thinking it'd be nice to have a little sister like her. But honestly, I think Ilya's too innocent. She might really be an innocent young girl who hasn't learned the difference between good and evil. Honestly, I can't even begin to imagine how a mage family raises a child. But I know without a doubt that Ilya wasn't raised in a normal environment. Tasaka may act the way she does, but she's a mage at heart. She understands the gravity of the Holy Grail War and knows that the killings between masters are murder. But this girl may become a master without really appreciating what it means to kill people. I haven't been talking to her long, but I don't think Ilya is the sort of who would choose to kill anyone. If that's the case... Ilya, there's something serious I want to talk with you about. But then... Ilya suddenly raises her head as if someone's just called for her. Ilya, what's wrong? Did something happen? Yeah, I need to go home. Berserker woke up. She jumps off the bench. Ilya runs out of the park without so much as a goodbye. She disappears in an instant. I go back to the house. I decide to keep quiet about meeting Ilya. This is the sort of thing I should be sharing right away, and I know it, but I don't feel like talking about it. Ilya wasn't acting like a master in the park. We talked about trivial things and casually parted ways. So I hesitate to bring up what happened today to the others. I feel bad for keeping secrets, but I don't want to think of the little girl I met today as my enemy. After lunch with Saber, we resume our training at the dojo, and next thing I know, it's time for dinner. I rest, fatigued after my training with Saber, so I take a bath to rinse the sweat off. By the time I head to the living room, dinner is ready. I'm a little moved. It's really nice to come out of the bath and find dinner ready, without doing anything. Hey man, it's dinner time. Why are you standing there like an idiot? And yet, why does she have to ruin the moment? Nothing. It's dinner, right? I'm ready to eat. Where's Saber? Huh? I thought Saber went to your room, Shira. You didn't see her? That's weird. She was here a second ago. Maybe you two missed each other because this place is as big as a hotel. Fine, I'll go get Saber, so you should go to the bathroom one more time. You can dry your hair properly. The air dry. Oh, you're right. Okay, then I'll leave Saber to you. I waved to Chisaka and stepped back into the hallway. As Chisaka said, the Emiya house was built with all kinds of passages and corridors. One of the most notable examples of this is the various routes to the bathroom. You can get there from my room or the living room. I head into the bathroom. I'd like to use the dryer, so I'll just use the towel I used earlier to dry my hair. Sorry? And in that moment, I forget everything that happened today. Hey, Saber, I suppose you must be here to take another bath, but I'm doing so at the moment. I'd appreciate it if you could wait until later. Yeah, I just thought we were dinner. I need to explain myself. I need to explain that this is all an accident, but my mind has gone completely blank. The sight in front of me is enough to erase everything that's happened today from my mind. Shiro, were you in the bath so long that your blood rushed to your head? Even your ears are bright red. If you need to cool off, I suggest you head out onto the veranda. No, yeah, I'll do that. But before I do, I should apologize. I avert my gaze from Saber and try to calm my pounding heart. Tao, Saber. This was an accident. Well, actually, there's not really much room for me to explain myself now that we've actually run into each other like this. So go on, get mad at me, Saber. I try to keep my eyes averted and calm myself down at the same time. Saber thinks for a while, then says, Shiro, please raise your head. I do as I'm told. Hey, wait, why are you still like that? I mean, what's the alternative? She, like, takes the towel off and gets dressed, like, into normal clothes while you're just, like, looking down? Like, I mean, what did you want her to do? You have nothing to apologize for. I should tell you that there's nothing for you to worry about, even having seen what you have. Come again? I've told you this before. Gender is meaningless to servants. Seeing your body may have made you panic, but as I have said, I am a servant before I am a woman. As such, your consideration is unnecessary. What? What is Saber saying? Even if Saber insists, the fact of the matter remains that she's a girl. But then again, I don't think it'd be the case. Could Saber be... Let me ask you something. Are you saying that you're not the least embarrassed about changing in front of me, Saber? Huh? Why should you be embarrassed about such a thing? I mean, that kind of goes against the typical, like, rules of modesty of society. So, you know, there's that. I figured as much. It doesn't matter that Saber doesn't care, though. I really do. Sorry, just let me apologize. If something like this happens again, you can do whatever you want with me. I do a quick 180 and rush awkwardly out of the dressing room. Saber stares after me oddly as I leave. We finished dinner. It was probably a typical dinner, except it didn't feel that way. I've lost my appetite since the incident in the bathroom. So cold. I had opened a window from the veranda to let the outside wind cool my head, but I need to stop. I'm going to catch a cold if I keep this up. Shiro, there you are. Hey, Saber. So, okay, we need to talk. So there's these things called locks on doors, especially bathroom doors. And if you could make use of them, that would be great going forward. So, Saber, did you have something? No, I thought you did. I thought Rin promised to teach you MageCraft tonight. Smack my forehead. I completely forgot. Thanks, I'll head over there right away. I rush to the outbuilding and head upstairs. I knock on the door to the guest room that Tosaka has taken up occupancy in. Sure, have my hands full, so just come on in. It's fine. If you're in a towel too, I'm just so help me. Tosaka's voice sounds from inside the room, but she sounds a little unnerved. Yeah, somehow it's worse. What is she doing? I walk in to see Tosaka holding a jewel in one hand, a syringe in the other, and a handkerchief in her mouth. I have questions, Tosaka. Hold on, son. She sticks a needle in her arm as she speaks, her mouth full. She draws blood into the syringe. Tosaka slowly drips blood from the syringe onto the jewel, then grips it tightly. A wave of vertigo washes out. Where'd Tosaka go? I can tell it's a ripple of magical energy. Oh, okay, she's back. Even after all of that, it's only at 30%. I guess I'll have to make do with just the 9 I have. Tosaka slumps her shoulders in disappointment and puts the stone back into a jewelry box. Tosaka, I came here to learn from you, as promised. But before we get to that, I'm curious at what I just saw. Yes, I was waiting for you. You forfeited your body with... Oh, you fortified your body with Saber during the day, right? Then we need to train your mind tonight. Tosaka seems happy, ready to teach. Saber said she wasn't good at teaching, but I'm guessing this will be the total opposite. Anyway. So, what should we start with? You mentioned that you can only use strength in MageCraft? Well, actually, before we start, I need to know, or else it's going to bother me. What the hell were you just doing? Sticking yourself with a needle is dangerous. Yeah, I was just making magic bullets. My family's style of MageCraft uses the flow and conversion of power. Whenever I have the time, I transfer my magical energy to other objects. Okay. Wait, what are magic bullets? What's the point of transferring magical energy? Magic bullets are exactly what they sound like. Bullets filled with magical energy. Have you ever heard stories where jewels contain human emotions and thoughts? Jewels in general can easily store magical energy, and it seems like my family has always been really well suited to the practice. If you don't do anything for, say, a day, you wind up with an excess of magical energy. So I put that extra energy into jewels. So this is a daily routine. Okay. I repeat this for days, months, and even years, and that turns the jewels themselves into MageCraft. The jewels obviously have limited capacity, and I can't control magical energy outside of myself. The magical energy inside the jewels works like an ignition source to instantly activate a large-scale MageCraft. Huh. So you're saying you fill these jewels with your own magical energy as a backup? Backup? Like combat support? That's close, but not quite right. It's more like stuffing something into a disposable pack. So it's like you're temporarily expanding a computer hard disk. That's amazing. Be able to use as much MageCraft as you want with that kind of skill. Hard disk. No idea what that is, but it's also not so great as you think. Won't I infuse the jewel with magical energy? The magical energy is bound by the jewel's attributes, which limits how I can use it. Hard disk, you don't know hard. I mean, when does this take place? Like 2004 or something? I guess not everyone necessarily would know the interworkings of computers at that point. Yeah, magical energy never ceases to surprise me. I didn't know you could store it like that. Why don't other mages do something so useful? The ability to restore magical energy in something outside yourself is unique. Even your strengthening magecraft involves infusing your magical energy into another object too, right? Things that pass magical energy typically change using up that magical energy. The effects of magecraft are instantaneous and never permanent. Yeah, I mean, just speaking of time and stuff, it's kind of weird, honestly. Like you go back even like 50 years, and the idea that you would like use a computer regularly is kind of like a niche idea. Because what, 50 years ago would be like 94, 84, like 74. Like obviously they existed at the time, but like the idea that they'd be like ubiquitous and like you're using it like on the regular and stuff, like, or just kind of for entertainment or anything, like, man. You really sit back and think sometimes of like how weird really the current status quo is. Oh, Father of Humanity Adam, thanks for the follow. Glad you're enjoying the... Well, I assume you're enjoying the stream. Unless it's like a hate follow, I guess. But that doesn't seem likely. Anyways, even your strengthening magecraft involves infusing your magical energy into another object too, right? Things that pass magical energy typically change using up that magical energy. The effects of magecraft are instantaneous and never permanent. What's a hateful? I don't know. Like if you follow someone because you hate them, I guess. I don't know. Like, you know how there are certain like Twitter accounts that like have like just like a collection of like trolls that like just post on and reply to like any tweets that they put out. Like you'll be like, oh, just ate a sandwich at the new deli today, and then they're like, oh, it must be nice to, you know, murder animals with your mouth via deli meats or something. You know what I mean. What my family does is make it so that the magical energy flows into jewels where they become permanent objects. But other mages can do something similar to their own bodies. That's what magic crests are, a kind of backup magecraft mages possess. Microchips and transistors are still being developed in the 70s. Yeah, I guess home computing became like a thing more so in the 80s, I guess. Well, I mean, there were simple things in the 70s. I'm thinking like, you know, like your Pong machines and stuff. Magic crests. Oh yeah, secrets that parents pass down to their children. I don't have anything like that. I'm kind of clueless about them. Oh man, so speaking of like old computer stuff though, like I know I've seen a bit of a game that recently came out. It's called like UFO 50 or something. Where it's like, I guess they like made like 50 like almost like NES style games. I've been considering whether or not I should stream it. Might be too late to be relevant on that at this point, but well, it seemed interesting at the very least. But I gotta finish some of the games I'm currently playing first, though. Wait, what did you just say? Huh, well, I just said I don't have a magic crest. My old man had one, but I didn't inherit it. Tosaka catches her breath, but then the next minute she seems to understand. No wonder you're such an amateur. Did you guys start from zero? I guess there's no helping it. Just like, haven't you known I don't have a magic crest for a long time now? Of course not. If I knew, I would have never let you go out and do stuff on your own. Sure, I knew you weren't fully trained, but if you don't have a magic crest, you aren't even a mage. But I can do magic! Is that what makes me a mage? The ability to do magic? She huffs and looks at me, seeming to be complaining. But what is this? Her voice sounds almost warm, like she's a little bit relieved. Like she's jealous I'm not a mage? Well, whatever. This just means I have to teach you everything from scratch. But since you know what magic crests are, you know what a mage is. Okay, sit over there, Shiro. I need you to really pay attention, because this is important stuff. Right here? Okay, go ahead. I brace myself and look straight at Tosaka. Tosaka nods approvingly, satisfied by my show of seriousness. I'll start with something simple. You already know that you need magical energy to use MageCraft. You can actually refer to anything that can activate MageCraft as magical energy. Okay. There are endless varieties of magical energy. Some may use MageCraft via their own means, while some may do it by paying a price of some sort. You at least know that, right? Yeah, you're talking about mana and odd. Mana is magical energy that's found throughout the world, while odd is magical energy an individual can create themselves. Yep, good job. Let me start by explaining the types of magecraft that use mana. Listen, mages who don't have so much history like you employ something that already has taken form to use magical energy. Okay, so mage is like almost like a form of like nobility, kind of, sort of. Interesting. Or no, better comparison. It's sort of like the old money versus new money sort of thing. Of like, oh, I inherited my millions from the Rockefeller Trust, which goes back hundreds of years. Well, not hundreds, but over 100 years to John D. Rockefeller himself. Versus like, yeah, so I made a little widgets, and it sold like tens of thousands of them. No, not tens of thousands. It sold millions of them, and now I'm a billionaire. It's a method based on a long-established system of rituals using offerings to make contact with mystics. It's called formal craft, a negotiation technique where a mage prepares a compensation of sorts to make a deal because their own power is insufficient. Formal craft, okay. This way, even a caster with weak magical energy can use magecraft. They don't need to use their own magical energy because they're borrowing it from elsewhere. For mana, so the caster only has to perform a ritual. But you need knowledge to pull something like this off. You're not at the right level to do something like this. Besides, something reeking of blood probably wouldn't be your style anyway. Probably not. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do stuff like sacrifice chickens or pray for a whole night inside a magic circle. If it works, it works! Right? Let's move on and talk about Odd, magecraft that uses the mage's own power. This probably doesn't bear mentioning, but it is the basic method for using the magecraft you and I practice. Your strengthening magecraft only uses your own magic circuits without using anybody else's power, right? I nod. It seems she's getting into the nitty-gritty stuff now. Right, the magic circuits that function to create your own magical energy are a hereditary trait passed down through generations. Magic circuits are forged over many generations and get more powerful as they're passed down to the next generation and so on. What about the case of, like, Shinji's family, where they've, like, diminished? The Chat of Mage family is already fit to use magical energy because of this. It may not be fair, but you and I had different starting points. I know that. It doesn't bother me. Keep going. I wasn't too worried about that either. But whatever. Anyway, other than magic circuits, mage families also have secret magecrafts that they cultivate over generations. It's similar to my jewels you saw earlier. Once a certain magecraft is mastered, a mage can physically hold that magecraft. Do you know that feeling of getting a hold of magecraft, even though it's typically shapeless and simply devised? I'll be honest, I'm a bit lost right now. I don't know, but I'm guessing it's like it becomes a part of your body. Okay, well, yes, I understand that Shinji's family's magic circuits were diminishing. I'm just kind of curious as to, like, what the mechanism for, like, why that occurred, if, in general, they strengthen over time. Bingo! Magecraft that goes beyond the realm of principle and becomes a part of you, then becomes tangible. It's a feat that can authenticate an otherwise unstable magecraft, and at the same time it becomes the testimony of that mage's existence. And when a mage is on the brink of death, they pass down their great accomplishments to their successors in the form of a crest. It's their way of telling their successors to go further, to places they were unable to reach, and that their crest may be of some use to them. Okay. Though, to be honest, about the one handing down the crest and the one receiving it, no, it's of no help. No help? What do you mean? No, why bother? Huh? What are you saying? That something so awesome is useless? It is useful. An ordinary mage would consider a single crest to be like a security blanket. It's that helpful. Okay, then why do you call it useless? But then again, it's like getting a car. No matter how fast it is on the road, it's never going to take you to the moon. I see, okay. So she's saying, like... It's like you're... So this is the thing, like, oh, we're standing on the shoulders of giants. So, like, getting the crest is standing on the shoulder of giants. But the issue is, like, the giant you're standing on has shoulders about yay high, but we're trying to get, like, up here. So, like, it's helpful, but it's still a ways to go, I guess, is what she's saying. Huh? No, trust me, Shiro. We understand, Shiro. Just forget that part. Let's move on. No, I won't forget it. I figured it out. I understand you, Tasaka. You might know this already, but this crest is what's called a magic crest. That of the mage family spends their entire life completing their magecraft and makes it into a crest to pass it down to their descendants. And the descendants completes another magecraft and adds it to the crest, which gets passed down to the next descendant. I see. And I'm gathering from... I assume here that the magic crests are, they're not, like, subdividable, right? So, like, it goes to a specific descendant. It's not just, like, all of them or divided between them or anything. We got, like, a primogeniture system going on. The magic crest gets more complex as it passes from generation to generation, but it's also a constraint mages can't escape. So what you're saying is that the entire history of a mage family is recorded in these magic crests. No, that's not it. Family records are recorded in books. Magic crests only contain magecraft. It can cast spells on its own, or it can let you use magecraft you haven't mastered yet. In simpler terms, it's like having magic circles engraved on your body. are those really simpler terms? You know, this reminds me of, I was watching it was like a video about, like, probabilities or physics or something. Anyways. Or maybe, yeah, I think it was probabilities. Here's the thing, though. Or it might have been explaining quantum mechanics. I don't know. It was something along those lines. What I will say, though, is, you know, mathematicians, physicists, or whatever, I mean, physicists are basically the mathematicians of the science world, aren't they? But they are too obsessed with geometry, okay? It's ridiculous. Like, okay, I get it. So you got your mathematical proof, and you're like, ooh, and here's, you can know it's true, because then if you, like, make a circle and, you know, you do these sorts of things, it shows my formula is correct, right? But I was watching a thing, and they were explaining, I think it was something to do with, like, probabilities, and at first they're like, okay, well, you gotta imagine it's like a cube, right? And each, like, different circumstance is a different point of the cube, and if you change one thing, it moves you to another edge of the cube. It's like, okay, I guess I can kind of do that. And so, like, in three-dimensional space, you want to be as close to where you're trying to get as possible, you know, so you can go there in just, like, a single, like, vertex. Okay, fine. And then they go on and they're like, okay, so now when we expand the problem, you need to imagine, like, a 23-dimensional cube. It's like, what? How is that supposed to help me? Like, that's... Yeah, look, to put it in simpler terms, just conceive of something that's literally inconceivable in the human mind because we work in 3 dimensions, not 23. It was a bit confusing, needless to say. Like, this is like I'm teaching some basic arithmetic, and I start my explanation with, okay, so imagine you had shorted a company let's suppose you had a leveraged put option on a oil futures. It's like, no, we just start with 1 + 1 is 2 here, okay? We don't need to do all this nonsense. But the triangles, yes, the triangles. Anyways, so the point is geometry is dumb, and we need to stop using it as a crutch in science. Like, if you need to appeal to multi-dimensional shapes that don't actually exist, then you need to be better at explaining stuff. Huh, then doesn't that mean you can engrave the crests onto anyone? If magic circles are all you need, then you can draw as many as you want, as long as you know the shape. That's not how it works. Magic crests are like living things. It's more like transplanting an organ. So it's like its own living thing that's sort of, well, not parasitic, the opposite of parasitic. But they've got a good relationship with the mage. So basically what you're saying is magic crests are the powerhouse of the mage. Is that what's going on? It's only one organ, so you can't split it amongst other people or copy it. There's no point in splitting a heart in half because it'd just stop working, right? Yeah, you have a point. Does that mean you also have a crest implanted in you, too? Implanted is a pretty backward way to put it, if I do say so myself. In my case, it's on my left arm. It covers my entire arm, from my shoulder to my hand. It doesn't show up as long as I'm not using it, so I don't have to hide it. It's like with command spells. Ooh, can I see it? Sounds like it might look cool. So that's why a mage family only has a single heir. If a family has multiple siblings, typically any not chosen to be the successor would not be taught magecraft, and would instead live an ordinary life. The magic crest can't be passed down to them, so there's no point in them being a mage. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand the logic. Still, though, I mean, you could, they could still learn magic and just kind of start at zero and kind of branch off their own, like, branch of the magic lineage, right? Like, now granted, maybe that's not good for, like, the long-term stability of mage society. if you have just like a bunch of like splitting houses every single generation, but it could be interesting. Yeah, Shinji said that too. I get it, so that's why Sakura wasn't taught any MageCraft. Right, but the Crest inheritance stopped a few generations ago in the Matao family, so I assume Shinji only learned about MageCraft. Honestly, those are the most annoying sorts out there. They can't really feel what MageCraft is, but they still try to use it. Tosaka sighs a deep breath, swearing quietly. Well, I was supposed to teach you MageCraft, but we got a little sidetracked. I'll need to come up with a different approach, now that I know you don't have a magic crest. Let's call it a night for now. I'll prepare some things for you tomorrow, so we'll do more then. Oh, I'll just have to trust you then. And, what do you mean you're going to prepare things? Well, would you rather your teacher be unprepared? I mean a lot of things. Since you have no crest, you don't have a switch. I'm going to go in and tamper with your body, so we'll need medicine and other tools. Look, as long as you're qualified, I guess. A switch. I mean, I have a switch. Like, I've got a couple actually. So there's one over here. Like, a chill runs down my spine. What? I'll stop if you don't want to do it. But if so, there won't be much I can teach you. Well, I don't want to, but I'm still going to ask you. Whatever you say is probably the right way to go. Then that's what we'll do tomorrow. Oh, right. Are you planning on training with Saber tomorrow, too? Am I? Huh? Well, yeah. I'm concerned about the bounded field over the school, but there's still some time before it activates. I'd at least be able to fight by then. I see, well, not that it's important to me, but it seems like you and Saber aren't getting along. Well, we're fine. I think we've gotten along a bit better since with the sparring and all. Well, that's... We had to talk normally before dinner, but you got all quiet at dinner. Oh, about that, yeah, well, I may have seen her, like, naked, so, well, I mean, there was a towel, but still. I just want to check, are you two getting along? If you do end up bickering during battle, I'm going to suffer the consequences too, you know. It's just that something happened right before dinner, and now things are awkward. That's all, but I'm not sure if Saber and I are really getting along. When I spent all day dueling her, I think I got a sense of what Saber's like. I trust Saber as an ally. No question about that. But if someone asked me how I feel about Saber in other senses, I don't know how to answer. Because I lost all sense in that very moment. It's hard to say. What about you, Tosaka? Do you like Saber? I do. There's nothing about her I don't like, really. She's strong, polite, and pretty. A huge difference from my Mr. Cynic. I guess I haven't really properly met Archer yet, have I? Huh. I see. So, you like Saber? What? All I said was I like more about her than I don't. Quit being so blunt, or you'll make enemies. I refuse. I've never been good with words anyway. I figured as much. I'm never sarcastic or cynical. Why do you think of me as loud and annoying? Why would I think that? I like the way you say things, otherwise I wouldn't feel like it's really coming from you. What? Crap. I might have struck a nerve. Tosaka turns away, pouting. But I have to admit, I feel a little better. Even happy, knowing that Tosaka likes Saber. Is this a new track? It's kind of nice. Peaceful. The day ends. I still feel uneasy with Saber sleeping so close by, so I escape to the shed. I stop and look up at the winter sky. Not because the night sky is particularly beautiful. I'm just feeling the winter chill in a daze, doing nothing because it calms me. I don't know how much time passed. I think I hear footsteps in the darkness. Who's there? There's no answer. Footsteps approach and I feel a piercing presence. I crouch, ready to jump back at any time. Hey! I asked who's there. There's no answer. The footsteps never stop, and the person finally appears before me. You're... It's a servant who fought Lancer at school the other night. The red-armored knight Saber beat when she leaped over the wall. Are you Tosaka's servant? Archer? The man's lips curve upwards. He smiled. Can I take that as confirmation? Something about him annoys me. For no reason I can really understand, I find myself irritated. I can't make myself like this guy. I've never talked to him before, and he's never attacked me before. But I realize something the instant I see his face. I can't respect this man. Jeez, Shura. It's like, can't put my finger on it, but I hate you. There's no reason for it that I can think of, but he and I aren't going to get along. Yeah, I'm probably not the only one who feels like this. Archer probably feels the same way. Oh, another typo. I doubt he feels... Archer probably feels same way. It should probably be the same way. There must be a total of 3 people in the world with whom I'm just completely incompatible. That's how bad it is. Don't be surprised if he was irritated around me too. What do you want? I thought you were going to stay on guard until your wound sealed up. That is my intention. The moment my wounds heal, I'm putting an end to this ridiculous alliance you two formed. So I've remained a spectator all this time, since I believed there was nothing for me to say to you. Don't let me stop you from spectating, then. There's nothing I want to talk to you about either. As much as I would like to do that, there is just one thing I cannot overlook. I hear you don't intend to let Saber fight. What's wrong with that? Alright, other than its, tactile idiocy, my reply is impulsive. He glares. With a fair amount of hostility, Archer makes it clear he sees right through me. I knew it. Only a brat would do something like that. You don't accept help from anyone. You just do everything yourself. On top of it all, you don't want any casualties. That mentality disgusts me. What? You have no right to tell me that. I'm only doing what I think is right. You have no reason to complain. I do, actually. As a fellow servant, I understand Saber's hardship. Saber has a heavy weight to carry with a master like you. Ugh. He's not lying. But what really ticks me off is that I didn't want to hear this from him, of all people. Screw you! I'm not a burden, Saber. I'm gonna fight in her place, so there shouldn't be a problem. Sure, it was delusional. So delusional. Are you saying she won't get hurt as long as she doesn't fight? Servants only exist to fight. Forbidding her to fight is blasphemous. Though I doubt there's any point telling you that. Having said what was on his mind, Archer falls silent. A few minutes pass. The two of us just stare at each other. I gulp. His cold stare seems to be trying to probe my insides. And then suddenly... So, what's your plan, Master of Saber? The Red Knight seems calm as he asks this question. What do you mean? Do you really expect to end this war without fighting? Do you really think you'll never fight or kill anyone? I never said I won't fight. I'll fight if I need to fight. I see. But you won't kill anyone you fight. Yeah, I got a problem with that. I have no intention of butting into your moronic reasons for doing what you do. I don't have the time, and I'm just not crazy enough to try. Archer turns his back to me. Don't get things confused, though. This champion of justice you're pretending to be? Nothing more than a cleaner. You should know that only the survivor is going to have a chance to save anyone that way. I don't know why, but it felt like Archer was just beating up on me for no reason. Wait, what do you mean champion of justice is just a cleaner? You should have figured it out by now. Listen, your approach won't undo a tragic death. That's the limitation you're working within. A champion of justice is someone who can only clean up a mess that's already been made. You'll never be able to save the very people you're hoping to save. That's deep. That's not true. The idea that you can't save the person you're reaching out to save is wrong. An ideal is just that, an ideal. As long as you hold to that ideal, the friction between it and reality will only get more intense. That's the path you're on right now. Someday you're going to face reality, and you have to pay the price. The choices you've made will cost many, many lives. What? You should at least be prepared. By the time you realize how narrow-minded you've been, you'll have to figure out how to fix it. And who to punish for it. If you can't do that, then I suggest you abandon both your dream and your CMeeCraft right now. Archer disappears into the darkness. Listen, no matter what anyone does, there will always be those who can't be saved. All your ideal will let you save is the ideal itself. There is so little a human can do. But even so... Hey, wait! What the hell are you trying to say? My question is swallowed up in the darkness. Archer's already gone. I'm just asking to empty air. What the hell's with him? He just showed up, unloaded a bunch of crap on me, and disappeared. He's telling me that my thinking is too idealistic? And I'm gonna suffer for it soon? But how can I decide something is wrong before I've even tried it? I'm ready. If I'm wrong, I'll just have to pay for that mistake with my life. That's my resolve as a mage. Archer doesn't have to remind me that. Really can't stand that guy. But something he said bothers me. No matter what anyone does, there will always be those who can't be saved. There's so little a human can do. But even so, can I keep pursuing my ideal without ever looking back? I mutter to myself. I felt like that's what Archer wanted to say. Ooh, saving the game time. And that, going into February 7th, is going to have to be where we end things for today. Hope you enjoyed the stream. Thanks for joining me. Very fun having y'all in chats. Yeah. Certainly exciting. Got a nice action scene today. Yeah. Getting to know Saber a bit better. So yeah, very fun stream. Hope y'all enjoyed. As for the rest of this week, we got one more stream scheduled. It is for tomorrow, Wednesday, 10 p.m. Danganronpa 2. I believe we are starting Chapter 3. So we're getting into Chapter 3 on that one. So, Danganronpa stream is always very fun, so if you like this, you'll probably enjoy that too. Spoilers, obviously, if you haven't played the game. But anyways, until next time, I've been CMeeCraft, and I'll catch you in the next stream and or video. Goodbye.